What? Alright, man, let's get back into this shit, man, because I wasn't done from the first bill. Hold on, let me make sure my mic is good. My mic sound nice. Check one. My mic sound nice. Check two. Alright, so we're gonna get back into this shit. Cause I had a few more things. I'm gonna show y'all something crazy, right? That I actually forgot to show y'all from the last joint. But we're gonna get all into it again. Alright, peace to gods, peace to goddesses, peace to all the brothers and sisters in the chat room, the aborigines of this land that we call the Amaru, aka America. So peace to guys. I'm gonna probably just build for about maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and I'll open up the platform if anybody wanna come through. But let's get with this, right? Okay, so alright, we sharing, right? So look, where was I at? Right here, boom. Check this out. The last time we left, when I left the last time, right? I was showing you the comparisons, right, between the Gitche Gala, the Gullah, right, This shit is ridiculous, bro. The Yamasees, right, and the Timucuans, right, of St. Augustine, right? But we know that they was in Jekyll Island, right? We just got confirmation that they was in Jekyll Island, right? So all of these tribes inhabited them islands that they call. Let's see, do I still got this joint up here? Let me see. Hold on one second. I think my computer froze up. Let me see. All right, I think we was right here. I got something else I want to show y'all. Look at this. So look, we showed the map the last time of where Jekyll Island was at, because Jekyll Island was a contention point from what the lady that I just showed the video of what she was saying, where the Timucua was at, that had all of these practices. So the thesis of where we started was from Jekyll Island, right? But then even we get to Jekyll Island, right? We see that there the other islands, or what they call the Sea Islands, are also surrounded around Jekyll Island, right? So check this out. I'm gonna go back into this, right? So we showed the cross references of how these people right here, that's called the Gullah today, right? They called the Gullah, right? And let me see something real quick. In a minute, I'm about to look up because I know the Gullah's wars, the Gullah wars was in the 1800s. Let me see something. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Alright, y'all, I'm back, man. This motherfucking PSNG down there fucking with the switch box. Shut off everybody's shit in the building. But I'm back though. I'm probably gonna need a couple of minutes. Y'all still with me? Press one if y'all still with me. You might check, might check. I see 17 people still in. Alright, sorry about that, y'all. Technical difficulties. I'm gonna go back and probably edit. Alright, so just give me a second, y'all, cause I gotta pull up some more shit. Alright, we back. Just give me 1 second. We're gonna get back to the regular scheduled program. Just let me pull up what I had because some of my images actually when my computer shut down after these niggas out there fucking with the fucking lights. All right, here we go. Give me 1 second, y'all. But according to some of the information that I actually went over earlier, there's no doubt. If you believe that the Gullah and the Gullah is not the same goddamn people, along with the Yamasees and the Timucuans and the people who inhabited them islands or the sea lands, which, by the way, like I said, we had technology on all of them lands. On all of them lands, like you go to well, not Saint Augustine, but Jekyll Island, you see that there's buildings, there's structures, there's civilizations, and all of that stuff that was there was taken over after they ran us. After the young lady was saying that they was having these hunting parties, so the other gentleman went in as much as to say, well, they was hunting human beings. So they kind of like, specified exactly who was the huntee and who was the hunted. You know what I'm saying? Who was the people that was doing the hunting and who was the huntee or the hunted. So at the end of the day, we can see the cross references. But I want to just pull one thing up before I share my screen. Whenever my fucking computer feel like cooperating. But for the most part, we can see the correlations between, and like I said, a lot of the Muskegon tribes, right? The Muskegon tribes would have been all of these tribes. You know what I'm saying? The so-called Cherokees and the Creeks and the Chickasaws and the Seminoles and the whatever and the Choctaw, right? The five civilized tribes. All of them would have been Muskogee. The Muskogee would have been most of the Negroes. All of the Negroes would have been Muskogee. Even the ones all the way up by Canada, right? And another thing, even when they start talking about, oh, these people, hold up, let me see. I think it's back up. When they tell you that these people they used to make baskets and all that shit, right? But guess what? You see the Micmacs that was in Maryland and Virginia area, that actually they say that they migrated up to Canada, which I don't necessarily entirely believe that, right? But at the end of the day, the Micmacs made the same baskets as the so-called the Gitche Gullah made. They got the same basket making, the same baskets. They make the same exact baskets. Hold up for a second. Let me see. All right, you know what? I'm gonna skip that part right there for a minute. We're gonna get back into. Wait, hold on 1 second. Let's give me 1 second, y'all. Sorry about the delay. right. You said the Hunger Games on Jekyll Island. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Sister Soul. Definitely the Hunger Games. You said the Olmecs, yes, as well, right? Right. See the Washington Olmecs, yes. Mount Bill. Yeah, and then look, even in that book I was showing the investigation of the Gullah Aborigines. It was saying it's all and these all these people and his mounds all in Georgia. It's mounds all through that part. That's the southern. I guess I want to say the south, the southeast, all the way to the southwest. It's mounds all through all of them areas, and we find mounds among all of these so-called nations of people who live here. But in that one particular article I was reading, they said that they built mortuaries. They have mortuaries, and I guess like according to what the definition of mortuary is, say a funeral home or like a morgue, right? But we also know that morgues have mausoleums as well. Like sometimes we like in like cemeteries, all of that shit would be connected. Let me see if it came back up. Yeah, hold up. All right, this shit's still bugging. Let me share the screen. We're gonna get into this. I'm gonna have to come back and show y'all that. So the whole premise was to show that the Timucua was in South Carolina, right? And then the Timucuans was Negroes, according to the sculptures and the figurines that they create, right? We show that they Negroes, right? We show that we have sources saying that the Yamasee are also Negroes, right? Then the young lady even elaborated and said that it was so-called Negroes in these parts before the slave trade or before Columbus even. All right. So let me see something. What the fuck is this? All right. So we sharing again. So I want to show y'all something real quick. All right. There you go. All right. So we showed that the Gullah Geechee people, which it says the Gullah Geechee people are descendants of Africans who were enslaved on rice, indigo, and sea island cotton plantations of the lower Atlantic coast, right? Now check this out. Sea islands, right? We go right here, back to the Gullah. What do we see? The Gullah, the Native American chiefdom along the coast of the present day Georgia and the Sea Islands. So we got the Gullah, right? Inhabiting the Sea Islands, which they said during the late 17th century and early 18th century, the Gullah civilization was shattered by from extensive extensive epidemic of new infectious diseases and warfare from other tribes. Some of the surviving remain migrated to the missions along Spanish Florida, while others remain near the Georgia coast. So they saying some of the modern day Gullah, which we already went in here, and it showed that the Gullah, I think it was this one right here. It showed that the Gullah became the Yamasee, which I don't subscribe to that neither, right? But it's just giving you references of showing you that the Gullah and the Yamasee had some type of connections, right? And from the map that I showed you that they was in the same region, right? Also, what we found out was, let me see, I think it was in this one. Yeah, it is in this one. Hold on one second. right here. Also, it shows that the Yamasee went into St. Augustine, right? Where the Timucuans was at, right? Can we prove the Timucuans was in St. Augustine? Yes, we can. Right here. The Timucuan people of the St. Augustine area had been living in much the same way as they were in 1565. Now, that's according to them, right? But we show that the connection to Timucua in St. Augustine, we show that the Timucua was living amongst the Gullah, or what you call the Gullah people, along with the Yamasees, right? Well, check this out real quick. I think it was this one. All right, yeah, this one. All right, so look, check this out. This is something I found interesting, right? Right here. We're gonna call this number live. So just give me a second. But look where it's located at. Look where the Gitche Gullah so-called Cultural Heritage Corridor Commission is located at. In Beaufort, South Carolina. Which the article that I keep pulling up is from the mayor in Beaufort, South Carolina, where he's saying that the Yamasees that was there been living there and was there before Columbus arrived to America, right? So now the funny thing is also the Gullah Geechee, they live in Beaufort, South Carolina too. But just according to them, they saying that they're descendants of Africans who were enslaved on the rice, indigo, and the Sea Island cotton plantations, right? So we know that this shit right here is bullshit. Cause if the motherfucking Yamasees was Negroes, right, that was here before Columbus, and they resided in Beaufort County, right? Then I showed you that the Gitche, I mean the Gullah, actually look, they got an article right here connecting the Gullah with the Yamasees, right? Look, the Gullah tribe and the Yamasee tribe, right? As you get into it, shows it pretty much. It's kind of long. I ain't really trying to go all into it. But back to this right here. We're gonna get back into that another time, right? Beaufort, South Carolina. Bam! You see that at the bottom right there? Beaufort, South Carolina, where the Yamasees was at. So look, let's call this number real quick. We're gonna call it live. Let's see how this work out.
Thank you for contacting the Gullah Geechee Cultural Heritage Corridor, National Heritage Area, working to preserve the history and culture of coastal communities along the states of North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. To reach Outreach and Operations Coordinator, Nina Rosario, press 1. To reach Program Coordinator, Tindaji Daly, press 2. To reach Communications Manager, Angel Parson, press 3. To reach Executive Director Victoria Smalls, press 4. We look forward to connecting with you soon. Have a great day.
We gonna reach Victoria. Let's see if we can get in contact with her.
Hello, and thank you for calling the Gullah Geechee Cultural Heritage Corridor, National Heritage Area. You've reached the voicemail of Victoria Smalls. At this time, I'm unavailable, so please leave a voice message, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for calling.
Okay, let's try to call her. Let's see if we can reach a different extension. They got a number if anybody want it. It's at the bottom right here. Let's see.
Heritage Area, working to preserve the history and culture of coastal communities along the states of North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. To reach Outreach and Operations Coordinator, Nina Rosario, press 1. To reach Program Coordinator, John Daly, press 2. To reach Communications Manager, Angel Parsons, press 3.
Let's see if somebody answer.
Please leave a message after the tone.
Nope.
When you are finished recording, you may hang up or press pound for more options.
Alright, fuck it. That's how I got in touch with Queen Quet probably about 6 years ago. Off of calling that, and I actually forgot because I used to call a lot of them different tribes and just question them about the history and see what they know and what they don't know. Um, so let's get into St. Augustine a little bit, right? So I'm going to play this video.
You may notice the impressive sea.
Let me see. All right, boom, right here.
When the stakes are high at work, grammar suggestions can.
We will be taking a tour of St. Augustine in a somewhat chronological order, beginning with the Castillo de San Marcos.
All right, now you see this fort right here, right? Now we went through this before. Let me know if press one if you guys heard that thus far with this plan. Just press one for me if y'all heard that. Yeah, the Micmac got hieroglyphics in I believe what Virginia. They was found in Virginia somewhere. Along yeah with Albert Perry. Albert Perry, his ancestors was had the oldest DNA in South Carolina, which we know why. We know how. These people right here ran a play on all these niggas' minds, man. So hold up. So let's get back into Dr. Longo. So oh nah, this is what I want to show y'all. Where was it? It was this one. It was this. Now they created this motherfucker right here and came up with this painting, right? And what they did was they made sure that they had him pointing towards this motherfucking fort, like he was the one who built it. So these people were slick. These people will paint an image just to fit their narrative to keep you confused, and people who do research will pull this up. But what about him right here? He the one who they said created it. We're gonna cross-reference this though, okay? And this is actually dealing with the. I found this kind of interesting. Let me see. Let's go back. And this is where I actually got the map from right here, right? But let me see. It says, all right, background. Preparing the lesson by reading about the Timucua of North Florida early people, the Timucuans. It say, and who built the Castillo. Now, it's not saying Timucua built the Castillo, but I found that very ironic that these people, they will put that right after they mention the Timucuans, right? But one thing you're going to hear of the so-called ingredients to the, I don't want to call it cement, but it's a form of cement, right? You're gonna hear the ingredients, and we're gonna show and prove that we already was doing that shit here in the Americas, right? So check this out. Let's get into this Dr. Longo joint. This is pretty decent too, right? They're talking about this fort as well.
This massive four-pointed star fort was allegedly constructed between 1672 and 1695 by the Spanish, making it the oldest surviving masonry fortress in the continental United States. The labor, however, was allegedly provided by black slaves and native servants who had been force converted to Catholicism.
Look, do y'all hear that? It was created by black slaves, right? According to Dr. Longo, he know better. He know better. That's why he's saying like that, right? But black slaves and Native Americans, right? Now check this out. Let me see something. Where the fuck was I at? Wasn't this one? Let me see. Yamasee. No, I think it was this one. No, it wasn't this one. I'm gonna play the video. I'll find it though.
As years would pass and the fort saw attacks from sea and land, the castle walls, made from blocks of limestone coquina, proved to be 100% effective against cannon fire. The walls would swallow incoming cannonballs whole while simultaneously neutralizing the force of impact. This is due to the soft, sponge-like qualities of Florida's porous limestone.
All right, check. So he talks about limestone, right? So he talks about limestone. Y'all heard that, right? All right, check. This one right here, I think. Just give me 1 second. I'm just trying to find something real quick in here. Matter of fact, you know what? All right, this one right here. Boom. Now, what we talking about? We still talking about the Gullah and the connection, or the Gullah and the connection to the Timucua as well as the Yamasee and all that, right? So it goes in. I read this earlier, but it says the description of the building material does not fit well with the present site of the archaeology finding. Through this whole book, they comparing the Gullah with certain other tribes like the Timucuan, and they saying that they finding similarities of the culture throughout like the South, like South Carolina, Georgia, Florida area, right? So it goes in. It says, all right. So archaeologists. So Ivado observed that there was houses or temples in which the dead was buried, but the description, no, but described them as having walls of stone about 8 or 9 feet high in mortar made of oyster shells. The rest being constructed of pine wood, right? Swanton points here, it seems well taken that Avado is apparently referring to lime cement or tabby, right? Lime cement or tabby, right? Boom. You can go back into this right here, right? We can go back into concrete right here. We have concrete. 300 BC, 300 AD, right? Mesoamerican culture, concrete, a mixture of sand and or gravel, lime, and water is used to construct projects including buildings and roads. Because of the lime, concrete is more durable than adobe. The Mayans, who culture arose in Mesoamerica in about 1500 BC, are the first indigenous American to make concrete, inventing it independently of the Egyptians and the Romans. Because remember, even if you believe in the Egyptian shit, we seeing constructions of the Egyptian pyramids and some statues in the early 1900s, right? But just to say, we got evidence, the step pyramid in Egypt is real. And that comes back to the America. So that means that the people from here had to actually go over there. Can we find structures in Rome that's similar to the structures that we find in America? Yes. So we taught them people. Anytime you see where it say inventing it independently, these two people ain't come up with the same fucking method at the same time. Somebody taught somebody. Let's stop playing here. Somebody taught somebody, and we know ain't no Egyptians taught us or no Romans taught us, because we was already doing. This should say 300 BC to 300 AD, right? So let's continue, right? It's saying during a late pre-classic period of their culture development, which lasted from 300 BC to 300 AD. The Mayans used concrete as mortars. We see mortars again. Now look, we see the term mortar, right? Then we don't we see that in this right here? They talk about walls of stone about 8 or 9 feet high, set in mortar, right? We see mortar again amongst these people, which are the Gullah and the Gullah or the Timucuans, because they mention the Timucuans, right? They're kind of comparing them with, or he's saying similarities between the structures that he think comes from a different people, but they was all constructed by the same group of people, right? So go back to the American Indian Encyclopedia, right? So it talks about motors to adhere blocks to each other and plaster or stucco, a thicker version of plaster to cover the stone or adobe surfaces in, excuse me, in their masonry projects and in their own art. They called this plaster sackby. The Mayans used stucco in their sculptures as well. It's a sea stone masonry techniques, right? One of the main ingredients in these building materials is lime. It's fucking lime. Okay? Let's go back to Dr. Longo, what he's saying. Okay?
For a period of about 150 years, the Castillo de For a period of about 150 years, this is due to the limestone Coquina, proved to be 100 feet in land. The castle walls, made from blocks of limestone Coquina, proved to be 100% effective against cannon fire. The walls would swallow incoming cannonballs whole while simultaneously neutralizing the force of impact. This is due to the soft, sponge-like qualities of Florida's porous limestone. For a period of about 150 years, the Castillo de San Marcos was entirely impervious to cannonballs. Allow me to read from Wikipedia. The War Department of the United States in 1825 had declared Fort Marion, as it was called at the time, useless for defensive purposes against modern artillery, but 10 years later reversed its decision and built a hotshot furnace and a water battery along the east front of the fort.
Now look how that look, right? Now check this out. Now see, like, man, listen, bro, you have no fucking clue. The Statue of Liberty is sitting on a fort. These forts was built by us. These forts are on the mouth of every river. And all of these forts where these Europeans saying, see, they want you to believe that you don't have the science to do that. But yet, we got references right here, right? From people who wrote about the Americas, right? The new and unknown world of the description of America and the Southland. They specify the Southland, right, containing the origins of the Americas and the Southlanders, remarkable voyages, thither, qualities of shores, islands, cities, fortresses, right? A fortresses. So they seen fortresses here already. They seen towns, right? They seen temples. And then we got references right here showing you that we was already doing this shit 300 BC. 300 BC, hold up. 300 AD. We in AD now, so 300 BC. 300 BC. BC go all the way up to what? To what? I think 3,000 years or some shit like that. If maybe I'm mistaken, I don't right now. I can't kind of get with it right now, but all the way up to 300 AD. Okay, which it ain't go up to no 300 AD because we still see evidence of it according to the Castillo that's in St. Augustine, right? But once again, it say one of the main ingredients in these building material is lime. We seen lime again. Boom, we see it right here. Lime cement. These so-called, what they call them, houses and temples was built out of lime cement. And they saying that either the Gullah or these are the constructions of the Timucuans, right? But where do we find the Timucuans at? We find them, the Timucuan people of St. Augustine, right? Boom. Let's get with it.
Fort. Many victims of the mainstream narrative will point to the presence of the hotshot furnace, used to hurl flaming hot cannonballs at incoming ships, as definitive proof of the fort's sole purpose as a military installation. not realizing this was added to the so-called fortress 150 years after the fact. Interestingly, the alleged first photograph ever taken in Florida is of Union soldiers standing atop the gate of Fort Marion. I can't help but notice how ancient the structure looks, even back then. A short distance across the Matanzas Inlet is Fort Matanzas, both of which were named for the infamous slaughter of French troops by the Spanish in 1565. Matanzas is Spanish for slaughter. This small fort, built to support the Castillo de San Marcos, was completed in 1737, 40 years after the Castillo. Oddly, the quality of masonry in this fort was significantly worse than that of San Marcos, and the fort fell into disrepair in a matter of decades. The fort was subsequently repaired by the Americans. The Cathedral Basilica of St. Augustine is home to the oldest Christian congregation in the contiguous United States, being established in 1565. The original structure on the right, with the Spanish.
Now you see the date, 1565, right? These are the dates these people always play with. Look, the Timucua people of St. Augustine area has been living in much the same way as they were in 1565. So what happened in 1565? If anything happened in 1565, but something happened in 1565 because it's mentioned right here in this article again, right? So the date that Longo just gave us, we already know that that's a date that these people are playing with, right? And like I said, I wasn't planning on going into the structures. That wasn't my focus. But I said, you know what the fuck? We might as well go into St. Augustine, whatever. Now that we got connections that these people was already dealing, they was already dealing with construction, buildings, and towns and all that shit before any of this shit.
Mission-style facading was allegedly built between 1793 and 1797 from solid Coquina blocks. These limestone blocks survived a substantial fire in 1887 and were reused for the design you see today. Allow me to read from Wikipedia. Reconstruction was begun with donations from Henry Flagler and funds raised in a national appeal. The congregation hired
Henry Flagler is one of the devils, like the Jekyll Island story, right? That went into St. Augustine and claimed a lot of these structures and said that they built them, and pretty much told you that the people here didn't have the science to do it, right? But what we doing? We cross-referencing. We showing other sources that show otherwise, showing you that we had the science before these people even thought. Listen, it ain't no coincidence that we was fucking with limestone and lime concrete, right? And up in that area right here, because once again, we showing you. Let's see right here. Apparently referring to lime cement or tabby construction material, and that at least some aspects of his housing description may have been colored by his impression. So he had the impression of the Timucua constructions, right? So this is where he's seen this at. So it ain't no, and whoever writing this dissertation is probably trying to they're trying to contrast between what they believe and what the actual person that they deriving the research from to do the dissertation, because you got to to do a dissertation you got to do research on the topic that you're doing your dissertation on. So that topic you might find 20 different 30 different sources, especially they would have to write well, how many fucking pages is this shit? 295 pages. That's a lot of goddamn pages to be writing, right? But that's a whole nother topic, right? But one thing we can connect the Timucua with lime cement, nigga, and it's like, bam. You don't believe it? Okay, bam. The typical people of St. Augustine. Because what Longo doing in this is he's saying he don't believe that these people came here and built this shit. That this shit was already here. This is what he's building. And look, check this out. Right? Look, check this out. Boom. So look, Look, they in the same area. This is how you gotta kind of like narrow this shit down, right? So it says the principal chief of St. Augustine region in 1565. They got that date again, right? Was Saloy, and his town has been located archaeologically on the grounds of what is today the Fountain of Youth Park, about 1 mile from the Castle de San Marco. That's the first fucking fort that Longo mentioned. That was the first one. The second one is Fort Marion. The first one was this one. Let's see. It was Castle. It was this one right here, Castle de Marco, right? So what would it say? The Castle of Saint Marco, the castle of Saint Mark, or Saint Marco Castle, right? So, and it shows right here, boom, Augustine right here, the Fountain of Youth, or Ponce de Leon, right? All this shit right here, right? So, and like I said, even with the artifacts or the architectures, right? Once you find out that we was already dealing with the same material architecture, or the same material that goes into building some of these structures or whatever, then you could pretty much say, all right, well, boom, we had to be responsible for that because we got other sources saying we already had fucking forts here. So we already had fortresses here. So it's like, at some point in time, you got to kind of like, with people who be debating these frivolous arguments about what our people had the science to do and what we did and what we didn't do. And these people's running all of these different stories at the same time. They running a bunch of different stories because we got another story about Walt Disney or the Disneyland, and they took that land from some Timucuans or whatever the other tribe, the name of the tribe of people, but they would be still Muskogee, which would be Timucuans, right? Or they would be among the Muskogee tribe, right? So let's get back into some of this.
Visiting New York City architect James Renwick Jr., who rebuilt and enlarged the church with a rectangular cruciform layout and a European-style transept. Did you know there was a road used hundreds of years ago by the Spanish that directly connected St. Augustine, Florida to San Diego, California? This trail was 2,000 Augustine, Florida.
Look, so boom, a trail, right? Now, what would be the likelihood? What's this? The southern borderline of the trunk line, right? It's saying Louis, well, all this shit right here. Damn, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, right? So they want you to believe that so the Spanish came here and knew exactly to go through all of this, all bullshit. This is shit that we already had. It say US 90 and US 80. So they paved the beaten path and just made it a highway that was already being used for thousands of years.
To San Diego, California. This trail was 2,750 miles long. Much, if not all, of the trail was originally carved out by natives. We have no way to tell how long this path stood before being adopted by the Spanish.
Remember, it's not natives, it's aborigines. We're the people responsible, and more to be specific, it will be the Timucuans, right? Or let's say the Muskogans. And the Muskogans got a lot of different nicknames to them. But we know that the Muskogans was all the way in. Let me see that map. Shit. Hold up. What the fuck is the map? Oh, there you go. All right. So like these are some of the boundaries and where the Muskogee was already at. Like where they was freaking. Like brother in the comments said that the Olmecs are the Muskogee, right? But we know that the Maya or Miami, we could find Mayan culture all in Georgia. Now look, Yucatan, Georgia, all the way the fuck over here. So how the fuck did you get Mayan culture all the way from here to there? That means it had to be all amongst all of this shit. But they're hiding the history, bro. They're hiding the history. And once you think that all of this shit is some ancient shit, when a lot of this civilization was still going on.
to San Diego, California. This trail was 2,750 miles long. Much, if not all, of the trail was originally carved out by natives. We have no way to tell how long this path stood before being adopted by the Spanish. This trail was consolidated by the U.S. into a single highway route between 1915 and 9.
And I'm gonna say this too, right? When you talk about the Spanish, they talking about Moors. They not talking about no Spanish. They talking about Moors. Because I can cross reference with the same architecture that was done with limestone, and I can show you that adobe was done all the way in this region right here. They had adobe among the Anasazi, right? The Anasazi had the same technique of building shit like the people all through America, because they only giving us a little. They only saying, well, in this city right here, they built this with this particular. You have to really do in depth research and see exactly what all the material that some of these buildings are made of to come up with a conclusion or to confirm it and be absolutely, you know what I'm saying, to be absolutely correct when you confirming it, right? But let's get back into it.
1929.
One more thing though, it's funny right here, right? Because you see right here, it says that the path route start from St. Augustine in Jacksonville, right, right up in this fucking area right here, my dude. Right up in this area right here. Right up in this area right here. Right up in here. And they claim they named Jacksonville after Andrew Jackson, which I already is 99.9% sure that Andrew Jackson was a goddamn nigga. And Andrew Jackson wasn't fighting the Indians neither. There's something else going on that they not telling us that I haven't found the information to connect it 100%. But let's continue.
The route begins at the Huguenot Cemetery, which is infamous for its paranormal activity. The spherical monument is constructed of Coquina blocks like that of Castillo de San Marcos, Fort Matanzas, and many other structures in St. Augustine. I was unable to find a solid date for when this pair of
All right, so the Huguenots, right? Who they say came from Spain, right? So the Huguenots who came from Spain, they had the same building technology as the so-called. Look, we already showed that anything dealing with limestone is dealing with America. Let's stop playing here. Now, ain't nobody independently built nothing, and these people built nothing. We already seen that this shit go back thousands of years, right? But obviously, yeah, thousands of years, right? But obviously, and this is before any European came here. Okay, 300 BC to 300 AD. You do the math on that, right? See limestone here. When they mention the Gullah or the investigation of the Gullah, they mention lime cement among the Gullah, right? Because they making cross references between the Gullah and the Timucua constructions. Okay. So now the Huguenots who came from Europe had the same science. It's bullshit. These niggas is lying. They're lying. Ain't no fucking such thing as no Huguenots. The Huguenots ain't nothing but Moors. That's all they is. They're nothing but Moors. And they trying to confuse you. Oh, these are just some weird looking people or whatever. Nah, they nothing but Moors. They nothing but Moors that came back here. And remember, in the first video, the young lady said that the Huguenots came to South Carolina, seen the Timucua, they ran down on the Timucua practice, which that's some bullshit too. That's all bullshit, right? And then they left South Carolina and just so conveniently went into St. Augustine, where the Timucua was at again. With a Timucua, that's how you know when you hear stuff like that in history, you have to be curious. So let me get this right. So the Huguenots went to South Carolina, right? And they found the Timocles in South Carolina, right? So then they say, you know what? Fuck this. Let's get out of South Carolina. Let's go into St. Augustine, where guess who is in St. Augustine? The Timocles in St. Augustine. So you come on now. Like you have to be a fool to believe a lot of this shit. Let's continue, man.
monuments were erected. Judging from the impression left on the smaller monument, the plaque may have been swapped from one to the other.
Look,
Finding information
flim
online is
flam.
difficult.
Alright.
Walking through St. Augustine, you may
Oh, you know what? Bam, I got something for y'all real quick. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. I gotta pull something up really anyway. But you know what? I'm gonna have to close this shit out. I'm gonna close that out. Come back here. I'm gonna show you something else in St. Augustine in a minute.
notice the impressive seawall which traces the downtown area from the docks in the south to the Castillo de San Marcos in the north. This wall is also made of stone and
Ah!
concrete.
Look, so the walls is made of limestone too, right? The walls is made of limestone too. Let me guess, right? Are we clear on this? Do you guys not think that this is suspicious that we was already dealing with fucking limestone in America for thousands of years? They show the connection of the Gullah and the Timucua dealing with limestone as well. And then these structures was also built by limestone, but you believe that they was built by foreigners? Yeah, because the Huguenots are returnees that didn't convert to Catholicism. If, like I said, the people that's coming back here or whatever that they calling Huguenots ain't nothing but fucking Moors from fucking Spain and Portugal, which it wasn't Spain, it was Al Andalusia. They came back here because they came back here for refuge because they had a connection back to the old world. It ain't wasn't just they was just pulling up. Anytime you see a situation where people just was coming here and doing what the fuck they was doing. Remember, they said that the Yamasee and these tribes that was in the southeast was the fiercest of all people. So our people was sitting up there just letting people pull up. Hell, fucking no. Let me see something real quick. I gotta open this up because I want to show y'all something else too. Oh, matter of fact, you know what? Maybe I might have it up here. Let me see. This one. No, I'm gonna get back into it. I'll find it before we get out of here though. So let's go back.
The original portion of this seawall is said to have been built in 1696 and lasted over 100 years before being repaired and expanded between 1833 and 1844. In my opinion, this wall appears ancient, especially the portions down by the Castillo de San Marcos. The old city gate of St. Augustine was marked by two giant stone pillars, which once raised a drawbridge after dark. I will read an interesting statement about the gate from trolleytours.com.
And look, let me show y'all something else too, right? Dealing with this, right? This is more evidence that these forts and shit was already ours, right? Let's bear with me, y'all. Let me see. Well, just bear with me. I'm just looking for a picture real quick since I had to pull them back up anyway. Shit. My bad, y'all. I'm looking for the American picture. Oh, fuck. Let me see. And this right here is also an image of a PDF that I got of St. Augustine. And this is actually out of the image, one of the images that they have on the it's the Aboriginal, and this is in St. Augustine. Okay, this is the Aboriginal. But I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna find the PDF in a second. I just want to show y'all one thing real quick. See, it's like once you start showing this evidence, people can't dispute that we had all of this shit here. So ain't nobody come here and bring nothing. These people came here and bought their lies and bought their corruption and confused us into thinking that we was from somewhere we ain't never been, and we part of some fucking savage, primitive ass fucking culture, right? Oh come on now, where the fuck is the goddamn picture at? Damn, hold on, let me see something. Let me go. I think I re-downloaded it again. Yeah, I cannot find that fucking picture, and I normally could always find it. Oh, and just one more thing while we passing through this real quick. Let me see. Oh, this one I want to show y'all too right here. So this is the actual image of a Timucua too. See this? These are the Timucuans, according to what they claim that they found when they got here, right? But you can see the similarities to the image of the figurine that they found here, right? The breastplates, right? The little, some of the accessories, and plus the feather crown, right? But they said that these are This is a Timucu. Now, obviously, this is a goddamn Negro, right? But I want to find that one picture just to hold up. It's actually this one, but this ain't the entire video. But in the back right here, there's a fucking star fort right here on the goddamn water. And we know these people ain't built it because these people is visitors. I'm gonna find a picture before we get out of here though. Let me see. All right, so let's get back into it.
The two ancient columns made of Coquina blocks were built in 1808 as a line of defense for the city. End quote. How is it that something is ancient but built in 1808?
And look at the Negroes in front of it.
Villa Zoraida was allegedly built by Franklin W. Smith in 1833 in Moorish revival style, the very first of its kind in Florida. It is also one of the first poured concrete buildings in America. Smith was an amateur architect and experimented with concrete mixing techniques, including those used by the native peoples of Florida. This so-called primitive concrete was created by burning crushed-up shells and coquina rock. This produces lime, an essential ingredient of concrete. This practice, often referred to as coquina mix.
Now look, building with tabby. You see it right here? Look. It say building with tabby right here. Look.
Tabby mix.
Now look, shit, hold up. Let me go back. These some lying motherfuckers. They put the shit right up under your goddamn. They put it right up under your eyes. Look, after the Timucua shell mittens was harvested, the oyster shells were stacked. Now look, they referring back to building with tabby, right? We seen it. Let me see something. I don't want to get all into that, but right here it says that Ivado is apparently referring to the lime, cement, or tabby construction material, right? Now, even when we see the lime, cement, or tabby, it made reference to the so-called chemicals, even though that this is talking about the shell mittens and all this other shit, right? But they make reference to them building with tabby already, right? We already see limestone, all this shit that was built in St. Augustine, according to what he's saying, was most of it was built with limestone, which limestone has already been in America for thousands of years. So why would these people come here and show us how to build something when we was already building this shit thousands of years ago?
Often referred to as coquina mix, tabby mix, intabby, and Indian cement, was common in pre-Columbian Florida. Thus, we have giant heaps of shell found throughout Florida, which are erroneously labeled trash piles by experts. This technique is a very reasonable explanation for how so-called primitive people could construct impressive stone structures. After all, limestone is just natural concrete, and concrete is just man-made limestone. As far as I'm concerned, this is a real-life geopolymer, which are often discussed in Tartarian circles, but never truly illustrated.
Hold up. This is in Peru right here. These structures is in Peru right here, and they saying that they made out of the same goddamn the same fucking cement or limestone that we find right here. They're saying we was doing this shit from 300 BC to 300, and this is all wrong too. They don't know how long people was doing this shit. They don't know how long people was doing it, right? But according to what they saying, that the concrete, which is a form of limestone, right? One of the main ingredients in building material is lime. Maya's building mixed dry powder on calcium and clay with water, sand, gravel, and crushed stones. They said they extracted the calcium oxide from limestone by first burning it on a special pile of wood that have been stacked in a circle. More wood was placed on top until it resembled a cylindrical building. Constructing the fire in this manner prevented impurities from getting into the resulting calcium oxide. So boom. So once again, you see calcium oxide, which they said is formed from limestone. All right. So once again, we see lime being constructed in America before any of these foreigners came here. So how likely would it be that these structures, right, that we saying, because we still talking about the Timucuans, and once again, we can show that the Yamasees went into St. Augustine, right? They went into St. Augustine because they had to be part of the same goddamn tribe, right? But we still kind of like we still touching on that. So let's continue.
I will again read from Wikipedia. In December 1883, Smith engaged a Boston mason to come to Florida to help build a special structure. They experimented making concrete blocks that used crushed coquina along with Portland cement. Satisfied with the results, they began to construct the Villa Zureda, cast in courses 10 inches tall. After 48 hours, the concrete had hardened enough to pour the next course. The process was repeated until the desired height was reached, and the resulting structure was nearly monolithic. The material grew harder with age. After 1 month, it was as hard as building stone. The concrete also contained shell aggregate and sand in order to withstand the harsh physical environment of.
Now, what did he get say? Shell aggregate and sand, right? What did it say right here? They did what? Hold up. Is it this one part right here? No, it's down here. It said one of the main ingredients in building materials is lime, calcium oxide. Mayan builders mix dry powder, calcium, and clay with water, sand, and gravel. Okay, it's the same science.
Coastal Florida. To maintain structural integrity, there are railroad rails within the walls that extend the entire width of the erection. Speaking of widths of erections, enter Standard Oil co-founder and best friend of John D. Rockefeller, Henry Flagler. I will read from Wikipedia. Henry Flagler spent the winter of 1882 to 1883 in St. Augustine, where he became interested in the historic city and its potential for a winter resort for wealthy northerners.
Now look, hold
He
up.
was particularly impressed with the.
Now look, he looked at that area for a fucking result. I mean, a resort to go to when it got cold up north, right? So that was basically a vacation. What they say, most of people, when they get old, they move to Florida, right? But it's telling you even with him, he's dealing with the Rockefellers. Where else did we see the Rockefellers have activity at? Jekyll Island, right? So now they go to the same place where the people who, according to the young lady we get seeing, was residing in Jekyll Island was the Timucuans. So now he sent more of his cronies to St. Augustine where the Timucuans are also at, and the Gullah and the Yamasee and the so-called Seminoles, because they're all the same fucking tribes. But nonetheless, continue.
poured concrete construction method of the Villa Zureda, the recently constructed winter home of businessman Franklin Smith.
New 2023 PAG4X equipped carpet.
Flagler offered to buy.
Now look, I'm not gonna front, yo. I mean, look at the structure of this. You think this cracker built this shit? You think he seen these Corbel arches before? Cause all of these are the Corbel arches right here, which we can also look in the encyclopedia and see that we already had the Corbel arches and pillars and all of this shit, right? So like they did on Jekyll Island, they didn't find nothing. They came there and stole shit, and then gets claimed it.
It for his wife, but Smith would not sell it to him. Flagler returned to St. Augustine in 1885 and made Smith an offer. If Smith could raise $50,000, Flagler would invest $150,000, and they would build a hotel together. Smith couldn't come up with the funds, so Flagler began construction of the 540-room Ponce de Leon Hotel by himself, spending several times his original estimate. Smith helped train he such as sacred that 400 years old. Artifacts such as
Hold up. Let me see something real quick. All right, the Villa Zayada Museum contains intricate interior details, including most notable work in cast plaster, right? When we already seen that we was dealing with plaster too, right? And ground alabaster, matching that of the Alhambra Palace in Granada, Spain. Now we know that they ain't build the shit in Granada, Spain. We already know who responsible for building that. So we know that the person who constructed this didn't build the shit in Granada, Spain, right? So the alabaster and plaster reliefs are referred to the traceries of the arabesque and the replicas of walls in the Alhambra Palace. Okay, so we know that this motherfucker didn't create the shit over there in Granada in Spain or the Alhambra. We know that he's not responsible for building that, but he's saying that it's built out of the same material that the Alhambra Palace in Granada, Spain, is built out of.
sacred cat rug, which is over 2,400 years old and made from the hairs of ancient cats from the Nile River. In 1887, William G. Worden, a fellow partner to Rockefeller and Flagler in Standard Oil, also wished to have a vacation home in the sunny land of St. Augustine.
All right, y'all starting to see the fucking connection here. Jekyll Island. They went to Jekyll Island and took over Jekyll Island, and they had hunting parties there, killing the Aborigines. Now they in St. Augustine doing the same practices, and I'm quite sure if we really get into the history of St. Augustine, we're going to see some of the same practices that was done on Jekyll Island being performed here in St. Augustine as well.
So Smith clicked his heels together, and out came another, monolithic poured concrete castle.
Look,
Interestingly, Worden was the president of the St. Augustine Gas and Electric Light Company and financial director of the St. Augustine Improvement Company. In 1950, Castle Worden became the location of Ripley's Believe It or Not.
see how you know these niggas lying? Because these Corbel arches right here. You see the Corbel arches? Look, look at this. Hold up, let me see something real quick. Let me click off of that. I don't know why the shit ain't pulling it up though, but it says Mayans built square stone temples atop pyramids that consisted of hundreds of steps. They used stone roofs. They used stone roofs for these temples and invented the Corbel arches. Now I don't know why the fuck it ain't coming up to Corbel arches. Let me see. I don't know what the hell going on. nonetheless, though, I guess we'll find it another time. I don't know why the fuck it's not going to it, because I guess I gotta highlight it. But these are Corbel arches. These round arches that's on the buildings. All of these are called Corbel arches. Okay, you find this all throughout American architecture. Okay,
Not museum. I will continue from Wikipedia. The Ponce de Leon Hotel was designed by the New York architecture firm of John Carrere and Thomas Hastings as one of their first major projects. Electricity was supplied by the Edison Electric Company, as Thomas Edison was a personal friend of Henry Flagler, and architect Thomas Hastings' brother Frank was the company's secretary-treasurer. Edison oversaw the installation of DC dynamos in the hotel. The building was one of the first in the world to be wired for electricity and constructed with it in mind. When the hotel
hold up, wait a minute. Look how this hotel is constructed. All right, now I don't need to show you shit that's done in out Andalusia. Also, Mexico got these same goddamn structures. Okay, that's how you know that the culture here was connected. It wasn't a culture like we think that, oh, this tribe was doing this one thing and this tribe was doing that. All of the cultures is connected.
When the hotel first opened, Flagler hired staff to turn power on and off for his residents because the people staying at the hotel were too afraid to turn the switches on and off themselves.
Look how that shit look. That shit got a mound on it. Look, got like the castle type of architecture, right? Now, when I was looking up Jekyll Island, let me see something real quick. Show you some of the architecture in Jekyll Island. Let me see if I can. Now look, let me see something real quick. Now look, this supposed to be a club resort that they supposed to have built. And I'm not saying it looks similar, but it does have some comparisons to what we see with some of this architecture, right? But let's get back into. I was trying to find that prison, but I ain't had no successes finding it. But let's continue with this.
Architect Emmanuel Louis Mascaret, who had recently arrived from Paris and would go
See, they coming up with all of these, and I know Dr. Longo kind of came to the conclusion that these people didn't build this shit right, but they're using all these sophisticated French names and all these Europeans saying that they was part of the architecture school and part of this architecture firm and this that, and the third, and they had the science to build it, all in hope that one day you don't realize that your ancestors had the science to build this. Now I already know we had the science to build this, but everybody else don't have that understanding.
on to supervise the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis,
Mm.
created the watercolor elevation of the hotel. Now, here is an allegedly satirical account of Ponce de Leon Hotel from the novel Gullable's Travels in 1917. I found it interesting, and I think you will see why. The hotel's named after the fella that built it. He come from Spain, and they say he was hunting for some water that if he drunk it, he'd feel young. I don't see myself how you could expect to feel young on water. But anyway, he'd heard that this here kind of water could be found in St. Augustine, and when he couldn't find it, he went into the hotel business and got even with the United States by charging $5 a day and up for a room. End quote.
Now, ain't that funny? Because right here it says what? It says the principal chief of St. Augustine region in 1565 was Salor, and his town has been located archaeologically on the grounds of what is today the Fountain of Youth Park. Okay? Now I'm not saying. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? We ain't. I'm not saying that the Fountain of Youth exists, but it's a reason why a lot of people go to Florida who get old. But that's a whole nother story, right? But I just found that to be curious that the archaeological on the grounds, right? It has been located. The town was located on the grounds to what is known as the Fountain of Youth Park, right? I just found that to be kind of suspicious, right?
Built in the same year, directly across the street from the Ponce de Leon was the Hotel Alcazar. This monolithic castle was also constructed from Smith's secret Coquina mix. The interior of the Alcazar was something to marvel at, and I quote,
See, we know that the Kenyan mix wasn't made by no fucking crackers. It was already here. It was already here. We already see evidence that our people was already doing this shit. Oh shit, hold up. This shit ain't got no L on it. Hold up. We already see evidence of that. And all through this book, it shows that the line, well, we already see that we've been doing this shit for thousands of years, and they don't even know that. Even these dates ain't right and exact. But now this guy supposedly had some special mix of lime, which we already see that our people was already doing. That the Timucuans and the people of the Gullah or the Gullah region already they was already had comparisons because they was trying to figure out how did these so-called structures get in South Carolina as well, and who was they built by. That's what the whole premise of this dissertation that I was reading from. It basically, that's the whole point of him writing the dissertation, right? But this right here says that this European who came from Europe, somehow he knew how to mix limestone, which if you wasn't from here, you have to know where to get the limestone in order to mix it, right? Which wasn't, I don't think it was ready available for everyone. You had to produce it or manufacture it, right? But that's a whole nother story. But just like I said, just be critical about a lot of this information that you hear.
the hotel had a steam room, massage parlor, sulfur baths, gymnasium, a 3-story ballroom, and the world's largest indoor swimming pool. This so-called swimming pool looks very much like a flooded building. Today, the drained pool now serves as the Cafe Alcazar. Today, the building is called the Leitner Museum and contains an array of strange artifacts. Let us read from Wikipedia.
Look how that shit look. Look how this shit look. Look how the buildings look with the Corbel arches. This is something that been here. But like I said, man, if you don't have no knowledge of this, you'll give credit to this structure to somebody else because you'll easily read some shit from Wikipedia from one of these other sources, and it would say that Henry Flagger, who was friends of Rockefeller, came up with this special mix of limestone or lime concrete or whatever the mixture is to come up with this structure or the cement that able to support the building structure, right? You will find information showing you that he did it, but we already got the information showing you that we've been doing this shit here with the same chemical. So how ironic is that these people come here in a land that was inhabited by people who was already using limestone, then took the limestone and all these buildings, which none of these buildings are from the regions where these Europeans came from. If I don't even know where Europeans came from, because they could have been incubator babies. I don't know where they came from. But just know that they wasn't responsible for having the technology. They took over a lot of these places. They ran people out of there just like they did Jekyll Island. They had hunting parties. So now we know that they had hunting parties in some of these areas to the people who wouldn't capitulate to what they was trying to negotiate amongst the people. Now we can see that Queen Quet and her ancestors, they capitulated. They capitulated because part of the whole part of the whole deal was to say that you came from Africa and your people didn't have no you wasn't here and you just somehow the whole story is all bullshit. But let's get back into it.
The first floor of the museum houses a Victorian science and industry room, displaying shells, rocks, minerals, and Native American artifacts in beautiful Gilded Age cases, as well as stuffed birds, a small Egyptian mummy, a model steam engine, elaborate examples of Victorian glass blowing, a golden elephant bearing the world on its back, and a shrunken head. Moreover, the first floor contains a music room filled with mechanized musical instruments, including player pianos, reproducing pianos, orchestrions, and others, dating from the 1870s through the 1920s. Grace United Methodist Church was allegedly built at the same time by the same people.
Another building. You see, all these buildings got the same goddamn structure to it, or the same type of architectural designs. All these buildings got the same architectural design, all the way down to the fucking forts that we knew we built to. So I'm gonna kill it dead. I'm gonna drop the link if anybody want to come in and build real quick. Probably gonna be rocking out for probably about another 45 minutes. But if anybody want to come in and build, here go the link. So I just want everybody to be clear. All right. So the Gullah was part of the Yamasee, right? We find out the Yamasee was already Negroes who been in South Carolina, or what we call Beaufort, South Carolina, before any Europeans ever came or ever existed, right? Or ever touched this land according to their history, right? Um, we find out that the Yamasee was in Beaufort, right? Then we find out that the Yamasee and the Gullah went into St. Augustine. Well, guess who else is at? The Timucua, right? Now we already seen from the images of the figurines that they put out there what the Timucuans. They also Negroes, right? So you want me to believe that okay, the Timucuans Negroes, the Yamasee Negroes. So now I'm already assuming that the Gullah have to be Negroes too, right?
What about the what about the what is that, Fort Mose? What about Fort Mose? What you think about Fort Mose?
Who this man?
Fort Mose is where the Africans from Georgia went down to after they.
See, look, a nigga trolling, a nigga who didn't get the memo to none of the shit that I just presented, who still is an idiot and still think he's an African, or still think that Africans came here.
Because Gullah comes from the
Nah,
word.
Garland don't come from no. Matter of fact, you know what? Peace, bro. I'm not doing this with you, my dude. You can sit your ass in the back. We not doing this. Here we go again, right? So we got look. Let's go back into this shit. Since these niggas is idiots, right? So we got, look, so we got here, boom, Timucuans resided in St. Augustine, right? Then we got the Yamasee migration into Macama and Timucua Mission in Providence in Florida, right? We don't need to really get into it. It tells you that they went into Spanish Florida, St. Augustine, etc., right? But also with who? With the Gullah, right? Now, look, if you niggas, if you don't understand this, whoever listening to this shit who got some type of point of contention, right? Native American chiefdom. Now, look, this is called the Gullah, right? This is called the Gullah. Native American chiefdom along the coast of present day Georgia and the Sea Islands, right? So now you got another tribe called the Gullah, Gule, who resided in present day Georgia and the Sea Islands. Okay, now let's go to the Gullah. So now you got, oh, the Gullah Geechee people are descendants of Africans who were enslaved on the Rice and Indigo and Sea Islands, right? So now you got Negroes enslaved on the Sea Islands, but then you already got Negroes who are indigenous to the Sea Islands, right? So now you got both of these Negroes along with, because this one is basically showing you, let me see, this one. This one is talking about the Gullah tribe and the Yamasee, right? And it tells you the coast of what is now the state of Georgia from the Savannah River as far as St. Andrew Sound was anciently occupied by a tribe or related tribes which wherever doubt may remain regarding the people just considered undoubtedly belongs to the Muskogee stock. The region now, see, look, even when they talk about the Gullah, they talk about a region. They're not just like they apply it to people. In my process of studying this and understanding it, they're calling the people Gullah because of the region. And I showed you where the region was from. The region was from South Carolina through Georgia all the way down through Florida. Okay, it was a region called the Gullah. The Gullah is the whole fucking coast. And it was just applied to the people, which would be the Muskogee stock, which the Muskogee has a lot of different terminologies or monikers that people place upon them, right? So look, it says the region was known to the Spaniards as the province of Gullah, right? But most of the Indians living there finally became merged with a tribe known as the Yamasee. Okay, now look, it says, and it will be well to consider the two the two together from a letter of the Timucua missionaries. We learn that the Gullah province was called the Yabaha by the Timucua Indians. So how the Timucua Indians gonna get them the name unless they the same fucking people? You see? So now we got Timucua activity in the same place where the Gullah is at, right? So we go here, we see the Gullah is present day Georgia Sea Island, right? But wait a minute. Now we got some Gullah people, right? We got some Gullah people who are descendants of Africans. Now the Yamasee, the so-called mayor of Beaufort County already said that the Yamasees are Africans. Now you niggas should be proud of that, but they saying that these people came here before Columbus, so we don't even know if they're Africans. The young lady kept making references saying that, oh, there was two people here. Once again, there go the Europeans saying two people was here. So who was the second person? Oh, because all of the evidence showed that these people had to be Negroes. So the Gaullers living in Sea Island, the Timucuas living in Sea Island, the Yamasees living in Sea Island, the Yamasee and the Gullah somehow get into some trouble, moved to St. Augustine, where the Timucua is also at, right? Come on, my dude. Like at some point in time, you gotta have some common sense, bro. There's no way that the Gullah, right, which inhabited the Sea Islands, right? And then you got the Gullah. The Gullah. It's the same goddamn word, bro. They just changed the fucking word. And then telling you, oh, this came from Angola. So where did the term Gullah, Gullah came from? This came from Angola too? When there is no Angola. Angola is spelled with an N hyphen, an N, and a hyphen, and some other shit. It don't say Angola. They changed it and bastardized the word, and then changed it to what you know Angola to be now. So let me see if anybody else in the back chat.
Hi, A1.
Peace, peace, peace. What's up, sis?
And I already know I got to be quiet while you lecturing.
Nah,
Thank
you
you.
good. I'm done. I'm done. I ain't even. I'm gonna probably do something else. I just wanted to conclude it with that, just to let people know that the Gullah Geechee, the Yamasee, the Timucua, and the Gullah is all the same fucking people. They all the same
Yep,
people.
sure is.
You know, they all the same people. Like even when you get to the Cherokee, the Creek, the Chickasaw, the Choctaw, and the Seminoles, they're all the same people too. Like it's like I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I say, yep, that's where my family moved to from one part of South Carolina, and they moved to Beaufort back in the late 1800s. They moved from York to Beaufort.
You said they moved from where?
York.
Europe. Oh, York,
No,
York. You talking about New York?
York. No, York, South Carolina. York, York,
Oh, okay. Oh,
York.
York, South Carolina. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't
And
know it was.
when Rebecca um,
Nah,
grew up, she got married and they moved to Beaufort, and they had 16 kids. They moved to
16
Beaufort.
kids.
Yeah.
That don't sound like slave activity to me. Somebody having 16
No,
kids.
no, they lived on the farm.
Hmm.
They were farmers. Farmers.
Hmm. That's right. So we got another brother. Peace, peace, peace,
This
chief.
was a
We
great
got.
segment. I really liked it.
Yeah, we gotta kind of like look. These people lying about everything, yo. They lying. They done dumbed us down. They done told us
Yeah.
that, you know what I'm saying? Like, even Miss Scogan. And, like, look, go ahead, Bill, real quick. I'm going to show you something real quick if I can find this shit. This right here, boom, Sir Solomon Jones film. That's how I know that all this shit is connected. Because
Hmm.
even with this right here, right? Which one I'm looking for? The football game. I think it's up here. Let me see something.
Sister Betty, peace.
Peace,
Ahanu, peace.
peace to the God, brother.
Hey, Chief,
This one
Betty,
right
how
here.
you?
I'm good. I'm enjoying A1 segment. It's so good. I watched him when he was on earlier, too. I didn't even know he was on. I thought it was an upload.
Look, so look,
Because
this
I ain't
how
even
people.
notifications. Go ahead, you got it, brother.
No, you good, Chief. I just wanted to show something. Look, look, look. Check this out. Look, look. Chief, look. So you got the Oak Moji, the Oak Muji, right? So you got the Oak Muji River among all of them other rivers. Now we call it the Okamichi, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they changed it. But Oak Moji is one of the rivers that's residing right there in Georgia and South Carolina. It's all in Oklahoma. But go ahead, Bill. I ain't gonna. I'm gonna show them in Skokie shit when they show it.
Well, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what's the.
These people right here, like they never seen slavery. They never heard of no lynching. They never heard of nothing dealing with no Negro in bondage.
Well,
Hey,
go ahead, sister. Betty.
oh, no, I was saying, say that again, A1.
Look how these people looking. And look
We're
at the.
not sharing nothing.
Oh shit, my bad. I'm
You
bugging.
got to take the banner down so we can see.
Hold up. Hold the fuck up. Let me see something. Oh, I stopped it. Hold up. Let me take that banner down too.
Hey, Obert.
All right, hold up. Damn, I wasn't even saying good looking out. Let me see. Boom. Now look, what this say right here. Okmulgee. Okmulgee. Sometimes you see it spelled different ways because that's how they changing it, right? But Okmulgee. Okmulgee. Like I said, you find the same river right here that's in between like Florida and Georgia and South Carolina area, which some people consider to be the Okemechee, right? The Okemechee River, right? But when you look at these people faces right here. Look, these people. You think these people weren't about somebody coming and lynch? These people look happy than a motherfucker. Look,
Of course. That IND just mean Indian that you showed. Of course. That IND just mean Indian that you showed.
yeah, look at the sister right there. Look, these people look like they don't know nothing about any slavery or any Africans or nothing. How do these people get to such wealth to be able to dress like this and have this land? Who gave
Right,
them all
right.
this? Oh, so slavery gave them all this? Look, Muskogee. Look. You see that? Muskogee. This is Muskogee. This is the same thing that gets changed. Sometimes you see it spelled different ways. Muskogee. Muskogee. And this is in Oklahoma.
That's That's Creek. Creek.
Yes, but remember, Muskogee would have been all the
Yep,
tribes.
yep,
They'd have been
yep,
all of them.
yep.
They'd have been all of them. They just kind of like giving you certain names and saying, oh, these people in this province, they didn't fuck with them. And like it showed you, if the Yamasee and the Gullah didn't fuck with the Timucua, why the fuck would they go into St. Augustine around the Timucua? Why would they go? Why would they go into St. Augustine? Meaning that they had to have some connection with each other, and obviously they had to speak the same language for them to go in there and live amongst them. So boom, we're gonna see the football team, right? Miss Muskogee. So we see Muskogee all the way out in Oklahoma, where they claim they move people at, which is a fucking lie. Look, and I love to show this shit. Shout out to my brother Amani Bay, man, for bringing this to light to the people. Look, so the white man gave these people all this land, right? And cars and bikes and all of this shit right here, right? How long would it took black people to work and accomplish all of this shit? Buildings, come on now. Look, cars and cars and cars. You see cars for miles. Look at the brother. He had locks in his head. So the white man taught them how to dress, taught them how to. So the white man, racist he was selling Negroes cars.
And
And
didn't he
didn't
show
he
us
show us
that they
that they
built those
built those
cars?
cars?
Yeah, C.R. Patterson. That's his design. And Ford stole the design and gave the design and gave the patent to the Nazis. It's what brings you Mercedes Benz and Volkswagen later on, right? Now look at these Negroes. Look, football team. Boom. Now look, you're gonna see Muskogee Bank. So these people just adapted the whole white man culture, came up with look, Muskogee Day News. Look, they got a newspaper called the Muskogee, right? Muskogee, right? So the white man, so everything that these people doing, wearing the clothes like the white man, building buildings like the white man, driving cars like the white man, playing football like the white man, or was you responsible for all this shit and the European just stole all this shit? Look, hold up. Hold up. Look. Right there say Muskogee National Bank. Let me see if it play out. That sign right there said Muskogee National Bank. So some Negroes who just came out of slavery know about banks and able to have all this civilization and build the same fucking houses that Europeans building. And like I said, they Muskogee. So it's like, at some point in time, people gotta wake the fuck up. And the same people who keep coming up here with these ridiculous conversations, challenging us, it's like, I ain't got time. I ain't got time. We already know what we know. So we don't need to even prove nothing to you. You niggas want to keep thinking you from Africa and thinking your people came here as slaves. That's up to you. We going in a different direction. And we ain't subscribing to none of this asinine, idiotic conversations that's going along these Pan Africans. So the white man taught all these Negroes how to play football, how to build buildings, how to make cars. You don't see nothing. You don't see no white people around. You don't see not one white person in sight. Look, this is what integration, segregation. This is what we was doing during segregation. Show me a white person, because I would believe that these people will be working for white people, right? How these people got a economy to where they can have all of this shit, clothes and banks and cars and all of this nice shit. How can these people have all of this shit? Unless something else was going on that these people not telling us about. Look, everything is Muskogee. Everything is named after Muskogee. The bank, the football team, the fucking what else they showing? They showing a lot of shit back there on the walls. It say Muskogee Security Bank. Oh, they get showed. Oh shit. Look, Muskogee Security National Bank, nigga. Why the fuck would they name everything Muskogee unless these people are Muskogeans? You see it back there? I don't know. Can y'all still hear me? Shit. Mic check, mic check, mic check.
You loud, brother. Loud, clear, brother.
What's that again, Chief?
You loud, clear. You loud, clear.
Okay. It should say whites took over Muskogee. You believe that, you idiot? So I'm sorry. I don't know if you with us or you against us, but what part of this don't you get? What part of this? So you think the white man? It would take years for the town, nigga. Town. How long would it take? Look, 16. What's this? 1925. So that's 60 years, right? So in 60 years, we was able to build whole towns like this. You don't see no dirt lands or no abandoned fields and none of that shit. The whole land is filled with architecture, with buildings and structures and shit. So you think the white man taught us how to build all this shit? Like at some point in time, you Negroes that be asking these ridiculous questions, you gotta come to you have to start understanding that everything that you've been taught is a goddamn lie. Is a fucking lie. I'll show you something else. Hold up. I'll pause this real quick. All right, so let me see. So you hold up. So you niggas think this a joke right here? This is an image in the Virginia Historical Society. So you think this is some made up shit too? Look at the back of his head. This is a goddamn nigga. You niggas keep on fantasizing what the people look like that was here, right? Look, bet y'all ain't never seen this before. The chinchilla mummies, nigga, with locks down to their fucking feet, bro. The gig is up, man. The gig been up, man. I just entertain a lot of you niggas.
Wow.
Oh, you ain't never see this? Hold up, sister, look at this. Look, it ain't just that. It's more. Look, look. It's more. It ain't just one. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, at some point in time, these Negroes, like, you know, some of these Negroes who be trolling, who be asking some of these ridiculous questions. Look, this what they found in Peru, nigga. Niggas with locks down to their fucking feet, nigga. Look. Oh, everybody wear locks, man. Shut the fuck up. No, they don't. Look at this shit, nigga. And you niggas running around here talking about you Africans and shit, nigga. You lucky Queen Quetta, one of them ain't answer the phone when I called the Gitchy what's the name? You lucky one of them, cause I would have definitely asked every question that being proposed in both of part one and part two to whoever would have answered that motherfucking phone. Look, this is a museum in New York. Look how long the locks is, Betty. Look.
Nice.
So the gig is up, man. It's like at this point in time, there's nothing else to talk about. We know who we are. Look how long the locks is. We know who we are. This is in Peru. We know who we are. We know it was Negroes all throughout this whole fucking continent, bro. From Argentina all the way to fucking Alaska. We know it was Negroes here. These people been lying. These people don't want to tell you who you are. These people, they want to, and then what they do is they keep these Pan Africans and these dudes who come up here and spew a lot of this nonsense of the shit that they understand. And like I told you, right? We can go into all of these articles, right? Look, let's show you how I do research. Look, this is the Timucua. This is the Yamasee. This is oh no, that's something else. The Yamasee War, the Gullah tribe, right? The this right here, look, which I already showed. I think it's this one, and it's a map of Carolina. We see the same fucking culture or the same feather crown as we see all through the Americas, right? And this is where now look, check this out. So these are Aborigines. They ain't put no color to them, but he got the feather crown on, a bow and arrow, and the so-called grass kilt or whatever they call it, right? But look where it's at. It say the noble Henry Duke of Beaufort. So I'm assuming that Beaufort is Beaufort County in Carolina. Map that shows you Aborigines on, right? Now you say, "Oh, you're bugging A1." Look, so this so-called image of the feather crown with the same grass kilt. Can we see this anywhere else? Most certainly. Well, this ain't the exact picture I'm looking for, but we can find this right here. Look, in Virginia. Look, the same fucking thing, man. And we can sit here and play these games and say that these are not Negroes, but they went through the trouble to color them dark for a reason. So it's like, the gig been up, man. You Negroes is agents, man. Look at this image right here. And these niggas got crowns on their head. Look, they got crowns on it, some type of gold chains or some shit around their neck with the same pipes that we see in Virginia, also in Seneca Village in New York. We see the same fucking pipes that they found excavated within Central Park, right? Same Negroes, feather crown. This is in Virginia again, right? Oh, so all of these is just drawings, right? These people, they just made a mistake. They just made an honest mistake, right? They just made an honest mistake to portrait or portray the so-called Aborigines here as Negroes, right? This is all a mistake, right? Negro chilling in a chair, same type of get up on, right? Oh, matter of fact, here, look, wait, look, there's another joint right here. Same shit, feather crown, bow and arrow, fucking kilt skirt or whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? Same thing right here, but he just got a turban on with feathers on it, but he got the same kilt, skirt, and everything. And this is titled. This is a map. Let me see. They saying this side right here is Africa, which I don't believe that neither. But this side right here at the top is what? America, right? Now somebody went through the trouble to alter this picture, but we don't need to go through that. We see more images with the same fucking shit on. A queen, the Indian queen, right? Look how she's dressed, and look how the so-called Aborigines dressed behind her, right? Is this not the same goddamn image we see here? I think it's right here. Shit, I done blew it up so goddamn big. Shit, I done blew the goddamn picture up so goddamn big I can't even fucking find it. Oh, here you go, right here. They got the same attire on that we see all throughout the Americas. So, I mean, I don't know what else to tell anybody. Like, at this point in time, if you don't understand, this should be coming around here with the only thing you should be coming around here with is asking, well, how do you explain this? Don't come to me with no Africans. No Africans coming here. A fucking myth. That shit is a myth. Like the goddamn all of the Bible stories or the stories where they telling you that's the fucking myth at this point in time to me. So I'm actually, if anybody else want to come on here and have something that you want to build on real quick before I get out of here. I'm putting the link back in the chat room again.
That's some
That's
great
some
work,
great
bro.
work, bro.
No doubt, sis. You know how we do. We all play our part. We all expose this information to our people and wake our people up. So everybody play their part with it. You know what I'm saying? And no, ain't nobody got a bigger
Yep.
role than nobody else. Everybody that play their part, their ancestors definitely gonna reward them. You know what I'm saying? For you just being sincere and taking initiative to tell your people on who they are. So at
Yep.
the end of you know what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, it's like we winning. We winning
Yep.
right now because we know who we are. You know what I'm saying? We know who we are. We know that these people who provided us with this historical information, they deemed us to be docile. They deemed us to be docile, and once again, the definition of docility is, let me see, is someone easily led, nigga. Look, King Cass, easily led. Oh shit, not a coincidence. Easily led. Rob Bourne, easily led. Garfield, easily led. Onk, etc. And all you other pan fucking Africans, you are easily led or managed by the general education system and them putting a battery in your back telling you, oh, you're not a scholar. Oh, I'm not a scholar. Okay, well, let me start researching your information. And all these niggas did was made you easily led. But when you come over here, you get crossed up very quick, or managed, right? Or easily taught, right? Docile, right? These niggas is docile, and they under the same terminology how the general education system deemed it to we want people of docility. So you niggas capitulated and became docile by default of you thinking that your ancestors, they tell you, oh, your ancestors, they didn't read, they didn't know shit, all that shit, right. And then you was like, all right, fuck that, I want to be smarter than my ancestors, so I'm gonna start reading all of the European general education, and I'm gonna start regurgitating this shit, right? And then spewing this shit back on the people. And even when I do see things that's in opposition to the historical ramifications that's being purposely taught to us, right? Because all this shit is done on purpose. So all of the research that these people teach you, that people pay to go to school for, people pay $300,000 to go to college to learn some pseudo science so they can go and work among people. And like I said, I went to school too. But I just only time I try to reference the fact that I've been to school to let you know that I've been among researchers. I've been among dietitians, doctors, um, all types of people within the medical industry. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, even among a lot of stuff that they teach people, that shit is pseudo. Along with all of the history that they teaching us, that shit is pseudo. So peace to the guys, peace to the goddesses, peace to the aborigines, north, south, central, and the conjoining islands. Thank you, Sister Betty. Oh, who else we got up here? My brother Supreme Chief Holiday. I
Yeah.
got Nick
Yeah.
and Goose, my brother coming through. What you got to say, brother? Peace to the God.
Grand Rising, Grand
Grand Rising,
Rising.
Grand Rising.
Hey,
Hey,
uh, you can pull up
you can pull up the oldest
painting in
painting
America,
in America,
and it's gonna be the
and it's going to be
three
the
black
three black
Indians
Indians
with the
with the
gold coming out their
gold coming
nose
out
and
their nose
everything.
and everything.
Let me
Let me
take a look.
No, you ain't got to do that. I got it right here. I'm talking about the one on Jack Forbes' book. That's what you talking about?
It's
It's
probably is. Let
probably
me
I
is.
ain't
let me
got the
see.
actual article, but
Oh, I got
Oh,
the I got the
I got
pen.
the pen.
It's
Oh,
this
that look
one.
like it right there.
That's it right here.
Yeah, yeah.
This is on Jack Forbes' book, African and Native American. And he's supposed to be a so-called what they call him, an emperor or king, and his two sons. So he the
Yeah.
emperor, and these are the two sons, and they got the same painting over there in Europe.
Mm.
That's what I'm saying. We don't know our history, and these people that made sure they confused us to where they got their cronies who went to school under the general education system, right? That basically put a lot of these documentations and put a lot of these articles out there, right? Um, like I was showing the people this earlier, right? So we could come back to this. I just want to just put this out here, right? So you got the Gullah, right? Do Gullah and Gullah sound alike?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm just saying honestly. I don't want to sound like a goddamn idiot, but if I am an idiot, expose me for being that, right? Do Gullah and Gullah sound alike?
I would have put the two together just because it's on the other the picture you just showing.
Mm-hmm. Which one you talking about?
It had Jordan.
Yeah.
I would have put them with the Gullah right there.
Yeah, but Gullah, look, man, they saying that the Gullah and the Yamasee, they already confirmed the Yamasees as being Negroes. Was it not? They saying they came from Africa before Columbus. How the fuck do they know that? If you wasn't here when they got here, how you know where they came from?
Exactly.
Because that's the eugenics mind state. The whole eugenics mind state was anybody who was black, make sure you say that they came from Africa. But the people of the South Pacific, they don't say that they came from Africa. Oh, they migrate. So a person gonna migrate across two goddamn countries to go somewhere that they never been? Are you serious?
And
Oh, they had houses and buildings and shit set up back there, right? Which they probably did, but I'm just saying that no pun intended, right? But so the Gullah, right? The Gule, Native American chieftain along the coast of present day Georgia and the Sea Islands, right? Boom. This is telling you the Gullah Geechee people are descendants of Africans who were enslaved on rice and indigo and Sea Island cotton plantations, right? So now you got two people. You already said Yamasee, and I'm assuming that the Gullah, which we already know had to be Negroes as well, right? They reside in the same area, and then you got the Timucua, right? So we already know. I mean, for people who never seen the image of a Timucua, let me see. Who never seen the image of a Timucua, right? When we say he an African,
they would.
no, I'm just saying. I'm not. We ain't got. I'm just saying. Just technically, I'm not. I know we ain't Africans. They're saying that out of the eugenics playbook. Okay, they said, oh, but they was here before Columbus. So these people been here before Columbus. I said, how do you know where they came from and how long they been here? They don't know that. They create the narrative to make you to throw you off, so you won't assume that you already been here.
Where is this picture from?
This picture is from this. From this. But then there's also these are also Timucuans, right? These are what the people look like.
Timucua.
Timucuan, but Timucuan are Yamasee and Gullah, Geechee, Muskogee. This is what the images of what they said the people looked at like. Now I'm not saying. Remember, we've been wearing clothes for thousands of years. So a lot of these images are ancient. These are not recent images. Some of them are depictions to make you think that the people here was primitive. Don't get it wrong. Some of them pictures I show you are depictions to make you think that the people here was primitive. But we already know what we was capable, our capability, and what we was doing here. But that's also the Timucua, right? I mean, look, man. Check this out. Look, let me see something real quick. Look, this is something right here that I found. The Yakubatan, right? Look, the Yucatan, right? Look, these are Negroes. I don't. You could sit here and tell me that. Oh, I don't know if they Negroes, and that's when I'm gonna boot you off of my like. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you, but just anybody, right?
Right, right.
The Yucatan, which is the Yakubatan, which is in Guatemala, where they found all this other shit in Guatemala. Not to mention Father Crispic shit, and well, some of that was found in I think in not in Guatemala, it was found in the town next to Guatemala, but that's a whole nother story, right? But even when you go down to the bottom right here, you see white people. Where they come from? And why they ain't got no whips and they ain't got clothes on, they ain't beating these Negroes. You understand what I'm saying? Who are these white people at the bottom right here? And why they not beating these Negroes? And who are these cupids? Like, what the fuck is this? You see what I'm saying? But one thing I can attest to, that they say that the Indians are Negroes. Because they right here, these are Aborigines. So what the fuck is going on? Well, like I said, man, look, it's the gig is up. The gig is up for me at least, man. I've seen it. I've been seeing it for years, along with the documentation. Look, Peru. It's a Negroes, nigga, with a fucking camel. This ain't no llama or no Pacquiao neither. This is a goddamn camel. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's so much shit, bro. It ain't just no one or two articles, my dude. This shit go on and on and on and on and on, bro. They go on and on and on. It's like it's no end to the information or the research that you find when you really get into the Americas. I mean, this is textbook shit right here, right? Bowman Park Mirrors. Textbook shit. Negroes. Well, find me these people that's this color and tell me what they classified as today. That's all I want to know. Since they ain't Negroes, find me these people. Tell me what they classified as of right now, bro. You see what I'm saying? Like it's endless. This shit is so much information. Shit like this. An emblem of America. This is a Negro. Don't sit there and tell, oh, I don't know if she a Negro. Nah, nigga. She's a Negro, nigga. And if the white man, when they was doing the excavations of chasing us out of our town, would have seen this woman, they would have said she was a Negro. We ain't gotta use no DNA. These niggas use observation and they judge people bioptically by their culture. Oh, that look like a Negro, then that's a Negro. You see what I'm saying? They wouldn't sit up there arguing among the white people. When the white people came to do whatever they was doing, or these devils, right? They wasn't sitting up in there fucking choosing and saying, doing, choosing and shit, saying, well, is this a Negro or not? John Horse, right? But then it gets better than that, man. It's just so much shit. Look at this. These people telling these niggas like Not a Coincidence and King Cass and all these people telling you, look, this is what they say Africa, but I don't believe that too. I don't believe that, but this is what they say the Africans look like, right? This is Asia on top of her, right? This is Europe, which we know that the original people of Europe look like this, but this is America right here. This is a sister right here. This is a sister right here. We don't need to sit up here and play game because we got other resources to support that it was Negroes here already. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, it's like at this point in time, man, it's like we're gonna sit up here and keep playing these games with one another. It's too many stories that these people that left that showed you your ancestors been here. And for those of the people who come up here and challenge this information, they like look, we should be teaching them. We should never let them niggas talk. We should mute their mics and make these niggas learn. Why would someone draw a picture like this of Montezuma and saying this is what Montezuma resided in? This is the same shit we get seen in Florida. The same buildings. Look, same shit. It's the same shit, brother. It's like the gig is up, man. You could sit there and let them fill in the spaces and tell you who the people are. I'm not saying this right here, but it's already set in stone, bro. Look, shit like this. Shit like this. I mean, all this shit is the same to me, bro. Once you done seen
Oh
this
yeah,
shit, so
oh yeah.
huh?
I said, oh yeah. I said, oh yeah.
All of it's the same, bro. Once you done seen it, and once you already done visualized it, and you understand it, and you know what's going on, like, come on, man. The gig been up. Oh, this is just a drawing, but guess what? I got archaeology, scientific evidence. I got evidence of people who came here. Of I don't want to call them primary sources, but if you want me to call them primary sources, then maybe I would. They got book sources of people saying Negroes is here. Like you got images, Negroes saying Negroes is here. And then the best thing is this, right? Check this out. This the best thing that most people don't even understand, right? Check this shit out right here. Look,
My grandmother that I the Indian.
my
How
bad,
you doing? My
yo.
name is Ahanu. I'm from older. Where you from and how you know which tribe you from? Well, I was told by my grandmother that the Indians, we were related to Indians, and they said it was the Blackfeet, and I am from Virginia.
No doubt, no doubt. Thank you, my brother.
My name is Sturdivant.
What's your last name?
Sturdivant.
Sturdivant?
Yeah, Jewish.
I never heard of that. That's the first time I heard of that name.
Name's Sturdivant.
You
No
said
doubt. I appreciate
Sedamo,
you, my brother.
Sedamo.
Thank you, man.
Okay.
Where you
Yeah.
from and how you know what tribe you from?
Look,
That's a strong name.
look.
Strong
This is
name.
randomly. I'm just randomly chilling. I'm just chilling, man. I be chilling like this, right? Look,
How you doing? My name is Ahanu. I'm doing a documentary called Culture Freedom, Hidden Cultures of America, Black Indians. Okay? This is strictly for the people who've been classified as Negro, Colored, and African Americans. Not no immigrants, only for us. Now I know you just said that one of your grandmothers. So your grandmother was the one that told you. Who was the one that told you you was an Indian?
My mother passed from her mother, so that
Okay.
would be my
What
grandmother.
part of the South are you from?
I'm really from north,
But what part of the South is your family from?
My mother's from Virginia. My father's from Pinehurst, Georgia.
Did you hear it on both sides or just one side?
On my mother's
On
side.
your mother's side, okay. But your mother was classified as a Negro.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate you,
Thank you,
okay?
sir.
wait,
Yeah.
wait.
I'm doing
Yeah. Do that work, man.
Culture Freedom, hitting Culture
Do that work,
Freedom.
man.
Random lady I met, and I know she's classified as colored and Negro. So tell me how you know you're Indian.
Well, I'm speaking with my mother and my elders. They said
Yeah.
that we
Yeah.
were from the Cherokee
From the Cherokee,
tribe.
right? I'm Cherokee. Every black person, most of the majority of black people I mean, they all say they Cherokee.
Right.
So we need to know that. You let your this is Culture Freedom, hitting Culture of America. This is random lady I met.
Look, I'm in the park working out. Look.
Culture Freedom. I just met these ladies out here in the park randomly. How many of y'all ever heard y'all had Indian in your family?
Absolutely.
Everybody heard that before, right? Who? Where did you hear it from? Who was the person I told you?
Our grandmother.
Ah, once
Yeah,
again,
don't.
thank you very much, nigga. I appreciate it. No culture
That's why they
freedom.
won't
That's why
bring
they
him on
won't
the
bring him
not.
on the
Not.
Nigga, the gig is up, man. The gig
I'm telling you.
is up, bro. Like,
I'm
and it's
telling you.
like people challenge this shit right here because, you know, look, the first step to the scientific method is observation, right? Besides hearing people saying that, oh, yeah, Negroes and Indians, seeing the actual images of them saying there was black people here. You see that first. Then you kind of form a hypothesis in your mind according to other information and resources that you're able to pull together that basically substantiates the claim that you make it. Then you come up with a theory that's supported by other information that supports the theory and supports the not only observation but the hypothesis which forms and constructs the theory. Then you do the actual fucking experiment. The actual experiment is that what you get saying right there. Then you come up with the fucking conclusion. So at this point in time, all these Pan Africans and these niggas, like, look, man, y'all don't really want to see me, man. Like, I mean, in full form, you know what I'm saying? I've been injured over the last 2 years when it come to, just dealing with life on life terms and trying to separate myself from being a third dimensional being and sentient being into being a god and dealing with some of these challenges that you gonna face on this in this reality. You know what I'm saying? However it go, you niggas don't want to see me. And this is for all of you Pan Africans. Any of you niggas can get it. You know, the Jabaris, the Garfields, the Rob Bournes. Any of you niggas can get it. And it's like at the end of the day, if any of them Pan Africans on your side of the field, they don't understand what's being proposed to them, then them niggas need to go. You need to keep doing DNA and go back to where you think you from in Africa and get the fuck away from us.
That's
So, bro,
real.
you know what I'm saying? Get the fuck away from us because the gig is up, bro. You ain't gonna sit up here and convince us that we're crazy. You're not gonna do it. You're not gonna convince us that we crazy. We never seen no mongoloids amongst us, so we know we couldn't have mixed with nobody. You know what I'm saying? All these people are classified as Negroes.
And we wasn't messing with them people coming out them boats.
But when nobody coming off, no, the white people were slaves here, my dude.
Exactly.
But they got power because they put them as the pawns. So on the chessboard, the pawns were the so-called Slavics. And they also was the same people who joined the KKK and the Knights of the Golden Circle, which was a militia, military,
Democratic
terror,
Party.
exactly, that went through the South and terrorized our people and made our people either capitulate or get up and leave. Like you see, most niggas went somewhere else
Yep.
where they have
Forsyth Jones.
family. You know what I'm saying? So it's like at the end of the day, bro, we know we responsible for all these sciences here. We already know that. And I know you niggas motherfuckers be wild. Cause I get emails from fucking professors and all these mysterious motherfuckers who be wanting to have a dialogue with me and shit through email or whatever. But I get emails from I've been getting emails for years from these mysterious, uncanny, strange individuals or whatever. And like I said, I know that they watching it. So the gig is up, man. It don't even matter. Like, you know what I'm saying? The people know already. You know what I'm saying? Only thing you could do at this point in time is do the fucking right thing and stop. I mean, we already got Europeans that already concur to us being here. You know what I'm saying? The only people who are ignorant to it is these fucking Negroes who think they from Africa, and they're so caught up with this primitive African culture, and they want to be part of that shit so bad, but they don't realize that they're not even from them. We're not from no Africa. These people that's in Africa, like much love and much respect to them, or whatever. But we're not the same people. Our people is responsible for something totally different than what they're responsible for. So I'm telling you, like, at the end of the day, the gig been up. And nobody here's faking moves. You see right here, I asked all them sisters. Look, I asked all of them. I didn't even know I didn't even know none of them. But check it out.
It's good stuff, man.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know none of them. And these people, as soon as I asked them, I didn't force them to give me the answer that they gave me. Let me see, shorts. No, I can go back here, videos.
What's that? Nigga ain't nobody took no picture of Christ. What is he talking about?
Who said that? Another.
Cool TV. Oh, we can't see the video. And another thing too, these historical sites we've been going to, like the mounds, they've been locking them.
Say that again, brother.
They've been locking them down. They've been
Of course,
closed.
of course. Because they, and see, a lot of these so-called structures is vibrating on our frequency, so they definitely don't want us around. You see what I'm saying? You start getting what they call that shit. Oh my God, what the fuck is the name of that shit? When you reminisce, like in retrospect, but not in retrospect, nostalgia. You start getting nostalgia, and you start getting like, you know how they say, not mirages but mental mirages, to where you're starting to your DNA is familiar with the territory, you know what I'm saying, or with the so-called land, or with the structures on the land. So a lot of times we get nostalgia, and we start thinking back in retrospect of another time. Now I've heard people have these accounts, and I'm talking about straight Negroes, when they visit some of these places, when they visit these mounds. It was like, yo, my mind just went back into a whole nother different time. Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I can't explain it. Like, people have told me these type of instances, and I got a lot of shit recorded or whatever. I don't want to go into it, but like I said, observation. We see we see this right here, right? Let me see. Hold up. Observation. We see. Let me see. Fuck it. I can go into this, right? Observation. We seeing things like this, and this is also in Florida, in the Yakuba town, right? Observation, we seen things like this, right? Oh, it can get a little bit different, because I can go into Virginia and other places, right? But just for the sake of it, observation, we see this, right? Then we form a hypothesis, right? Meaning that we hear other people referencing and saying that Negroes was already in America, right? Then along the research that we find a theory. Now we just need to do the experiment. And once again, like I said, this is the experiment itself.
Okay, okay. Did have anybody in your family ever said by chance that you may have Indian in your family?
Yeah, my father's mother was Cherokee. She had Cherokee. She was a Cherokee Indian.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Are you a grandmother?
Yes, I am.
Please let your grandchildren know they Indian. Please.
Yes.
Please let them know. Don't let the people classify them for them. And I appreciate you, Culture Freedom. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Tell me your first name. How you doing, ma'am?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And it's like, I have done this to crackheads, and no disrespect to the brothers who may be inebriated, um, just homeless people, and they all know. They all know.
But nobody speak up on it.
No, nobody speak up on it, right? Homeless people, right? Let me see. Let's go here real quick. Go ahead. You can build though while I'm looking for it.
Oh yeah. We go. We've been out to these old sites. Let me see if that's one more. I got your okay. But yeah, we've been to sites and they want to look on the ground. And that was very some of these, you go to like the bottom corner of Georgia, almost Alabama, and there's a lot of sites out there, and they're not sharing with people.
And you said they don't do what?
They're not sharing information. It's all what you call those societies, those historical. I don't know why this thing repeating.
No, don't worry about it. It's all good.
Okay,
I can't even find my shit.
But yeah, it's a lot of history in every state.
Yeah, but you have to kind of, even with the history that they giving you, right? You gotta definitely cross-reference that information, right?
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of motherfuckers is, hold up. See, look, this is another. Hold up. Let me open this up real quick. I found my other little. I got these shits all through my goddamn computer. I gotta kind of consolidate them and put them all in one. Put them all in one folder. So look, let me find my man. So.
Well, from my mother's side of the family, so it's my maternal side of the family. My grandmother came from the Cherokee side. Then my mother's father came from the Blackfoot side. Although they were already mixed, they weren't 100%. But my grandmother now is 100% Cherokee, right? Yeah, my grandfather's side was mixed. But yeah, so then it mixed from my grandmother down. That's what's up, bro. So how long you been knowing this all your life, though, right? Oh yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's like just to know my family history. Like all it's funny because my mother's side, they're all living in their 80s and 90s. Yeah, right? My mother was passed, a lot of that through the history. Yeah. But each one of their families, they have some relic of the Native American ancestry. Yeah. Let me just cut a little short.
So the brother, he didn't clearly understand its entirety of what was going on. But after I cut the video, me and him, I elaborated on it, right?
Right
So
on.
these are random people. These are random, and like I said, I got 2,500 of these.
What you classified as though? On paper, what did the government got you classified as? African American. Oh, African. So how do you know you were Indian? My ancestors, my mother's mother was an Indian, straight up Indian. Was a straight up Indian. But on your father's side, you got Indian too, right? And my father, he was a slave. But the Indians were the slaves too. Yeah. The Indians were the slaves too. The Indians classified as colored. I'm just saying, but see, we don't know that a lot of us is classified as colored and Africans because they was trying to hide the fact that it was black people. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Thanks, bro. I appreciate it, man.
So like this shit just go on. Let me find my man. I was coming out of McDonald's one day.
I'm doing a documentary called Culture Freedom, Hate Coastal America, right? Black Indians, right? Now I just randomly met you, right? Now you told me, now I asked you what Indian, because you classified as an African American, right? You not they wouldn't call you Indian, right? No. Oh, hold on for 1 second. Thank you. They wouldn't call you Indian, they would call you African, right? So why would you tell me you're Indian if you're African? Huh? But you said your mother was. Yeah, my mother. So if you are what your mother and your father are, right? So why you not that? Why you don't claim you that? So what tribes again did you say your people was part of? Black.
Yeah.
How did you know that though? My mother told me. Your
Mother told you that when she was young? Really? But they Negroes, right? But they not on part of no reservation. They not part of no Negro. I mean, they're not part of no reservations, no Indian reservations or nothing. They just regular people walk around here, but they real Indians. But do you know what that would make you? That would make you the only American. That would make you more American than anybody who walking around here. How many people can walk around and say they're Indian? I'm talking about American Indian. So that you should feel special about that, my dude. You understand?
They're right. They're right.
So
I
look,
like that
man,
right there, bro. I like that right there. I like that talk right there.
the
That
gigs,
made me
man.
feel
Yeah,
good.
I mean the gig is up, man. I mean, listen, my brother, you can do it too. Like I said, at the end of the day, bro, everybody can do it. Everybody in the chat room, everybody who view this video later on, you do the same thing. You do the experiment. You do the experiment. People who you know that are Aborigines first confirm that they Oh, you can't hear the video? Did you hear the video, my brother?
Yeah, I heard it. It was low, but I could hear it.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that, peoples. But nonetheless, though, you guys can do the same fucking experiment, yo. You know, you ain't just gotta walk up to. You know, I do me, man. I ain't really worried about nothing, nobody, or whatever. I walk up and crowd a bunch of little niggas and ask them, or whatever, man. But however it go, you know, you can. You
That's
said
right.
stop smoking, Bobby Johnson. It's Bobby Johnson. Let me explain something to you, bro.
Stop
I'm a
smoking.
I'm
Why?
a herbalist. I'm a herbalist. Yeah, I'm smoking on some cigars or whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm about to do a 21-day raw food diet detox and end it off with a 10-day water fast. I go to the gym at least 5 days a week. I'm 47. I can still bench 405. I still hit the water bag for 3 minute for 6 minute rounds for 3 minutes each round. So like, look, man, I'm not your average dude, my dude. I'm something different. I'm something totally different than a lot of these niggas. But so you guys heard that. You guys do. I'm sorry that the volume was a little low because this StreamYard shit be doing all types of they be having all types of different things going on. I gotta kind of get back up to speed with the StreamYard, but at the end of the day, yeah, exactly. So ask the people who within your vicinity or within your region on have they ever heard that they have Aborigine or whatever tribe. Now you notice when I say Indian, most of them told me exactly what type of Indian or what type of Indian that they were.
Hmm.
They came out clearly and said it, right? They came out and said my brother said he Blackfoot and Cherokee. The other brother even said the same thing. And this is like I said, this these people right here I interview is in Jersey. I got some interviews when I went out to Myrtle Beach. I got some interviews when I went out to Florida. I got a couple of different interviews of people from different regions that's saying the same goddamn thing, man. It's at some point in time you have to understand the gig is up. We already know what the Aborigines look like. We know that they ain't these mysterious mestizos or Mongols that they show us. We know that they are Negroes, and we also got the documentation that's showing you that they classified you as colored, mulatto, and I'm not even saying in all cases because understand this too, right? In a lot of cases, where you see a lot of these classifications being conducted prior to our people being integrated. They're being conducted among people who were the descendants of a Slavic mother. Now, some people I've spoken to told me that they got mulatto on their so-called documentation, and they don't have no European in their
Yes,
so-called family line.
that's
So, like,
correct.
so it's a lot of things going on. But just know this, right? Even at a lot of these times where they show Europeans ain't had no power over here. Ain't no black Europeans had no power over here. We had the power over here. So we're technically, when you see a lot of these classifications, that's us doing the classifications on some of these Negroes who intermixed with some of these Slavic women that didn't manumission their children or didn't free their children. Because if you had a baby, if you was a Negro now, right, and let's say you know how Negroes be having swirling with, excuse me. So if you had a woman, I mean a child by a so-called Slavic and they were slaves for the entire duration up into 1865. They were slaves. White people were slaves here. So how's white people, the Dutch, the French, the Britons, all of these? That's all is fucking asinine lie that history and historians has confabulated to make us think that these people came here and they dominated us. That's a motherfucking lie. They didn't dominate us. And according to the science of the Americas, on I'm a rule that you find out, that you find through researching, you will see that yourself. They didn't dominate us. And no white people pull up on shore and do nothing. And if some white people did pull up on shore, they went number of pawns for the so-called Roman, or the Rome, or Catholicism or Christianity, which with them people who would have been in charge of that would have been Negroes. Showed you the image of the Pope. Let me see something real quick. So I don't know if you was there when let me see something real quick.
Now, I'm not too long got out of work.
Let's see something real quick. Now I showed this on I don't know if it was AP joint or AB TV. Let me see something real quick.
I can I got my family heirloom over there. I can we got some good stories written in there about what was going on.
And that's what I'm saying. Like they're not gonna tell you this history that we dealing with. Like they're not gonna tell you. They're not gonna tell you this shit, my dude. They don't want you to know about none of this shit, bro. They want us to think that we were slaves, that we came here. And check this out, right? Look, I think I showed this a couple weeks ago, right? Somebody else is in. My bad. My bad, nonetheless, man. Sorry about that, brother. Peace to the God, man. I ain't even
Peace to the
sick.
God, bro. That's good. I just got in here, bro.
Go, you got
Yeah,
it.
you
Ain't
doing
nothing
your thing.
less.
Hey, what's up, Sister Betty, yo? I mean, Sister Betty. I always say yo. You know we Baltimore.
That's
We say
okay. That's
yo.
okay.
We say yo up there.
That's
Everything.
all right. That's all right. That's all right, yo.
Yeah.
Look, why would the Pope be standing if these people are so racist and they hate black people, right? And black people were slaves, then why would the Pope be in front of a fucking family crest with a so-called Negro on it? Cause this Negro right here, his family is still in charge of these fucking Slavics. And these are the people who've been doing what they've been doing to us. And they put these people, which is the Slavics, they put these people as the pawns and make you think that it's white against black, but it's really so-called black against so-called black, or black against aborigines, or aborigines against aborigines. This is what the shit really doing. And the Europeans in most cases ain't nothing but the pawns in the whole entire movement. I mean, do that make any sense? I don't know.
Yeah, bro. But they wonder how you can prove that is it. That's the echo. Is that me?
No, you good. You good.
I'm good. All right. Here's the issue that I got with these dudes that hop on the panel all day. What they do is they try to debunk the American history of motherfuckers that claim they just discovered this land. So,
hey, bud, you gotta turn your speakers off.
Said my speakers off. Hold up.
Like
yeah, I do hear echo.
Yeah, your speakers.
Right,
in your house, or do you got the window open?
Nah, I got an Alexa right here, but how do I sound now?
No,
And
it's
it's
not
me.
you. It's us echoing.
Okay, all right. Now I just shut down the Hold on, let me see something. Let me close this shit out. I just shut that down. Now go ahead, say something nonetheless. Let me see if it's still echoing.
1,
Still
2.
echo?
Oh, it's gone.
Oh,
Yeah, because I'm sorry because
yeah.
I was showing the screen, but go ahead.
I thought I heard it. But A1, it was over once you explained that there was Negroes here before Columbus. Excuse me. There shouldn't be no more discussion because the age of discovery happened in the 1500s, according to that story, right? So why are these dudes going to Africa and gathering the information about when the west coast of Africa was discovered? And it was discovered around the same time by these so-called explorers. So how you got the Yamasee here, bro, before Columbus, and y'all talking about they were slaves, bro, when them niggas claim that they didn't even discover Africa, bro, or the West Coast, where they claim they got the slaves from, until the 1500s. You see what I'm saying, bro? So then you go and talk about some Spanish pale skinned explorers came over to America and calling these dudes Africans, bro. When they didn't even, from their story, they didn't even know who Africans was. They just making that shit up. Like modern, that's a modern day usurp, bro. That's not even no shit that they was talking. They wasn't even talking like that back then, bro. Them niggas only New York or the areas where they was slaves at, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just like you say, how they slaves and they don't even know how to sail. You know what I'm saying? The ones that was brought up into Europe. You know what I'm saying? When you talk, I'm talking about the explorers, the ones that was really starting to learn how to do commerce. You know what I'm saying? They didn't even know where they was going. They didn't know about the west coast of Africa and all that shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Let alone to explore into the interior of Africa when there's no rivers that goes deep into Africa like it is in America. You know what I'm saying? You got the Niger River, but that shit is like a fucking it's not fucking with the Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? Or the Potomac or none of those rivers that go from east to west. Like we got rivers that go all over the whole continent, bro. They don't have
Hey,
that.
look, the Potomac. Look, when I was up in Buffalo, me and my lady, we went up to Niagara Falls, right? So we went up to Buffalo, right? So the whole path that I followed was along the Potomac River. Now check this out. My people live in Maryland. Excuse me, I'm chewing on something. Look,
Yeah,
my,
that's in Maryland.
my
That's where the
people.
DC is.
So look, when you come down 95 and you cross that bridge, what's the name of that bridge? It's the Potomac, right?
That's the Susquehanna.
The Susquehanna. The Susquehanna. Then you start seeing signs for the Potomac.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Potomac come all the way down. It come from north to south. You
right.
right. You right.
That's what I'm saying. So how are they getting people? Yo, that's what. See, that's not even our job, though. You feel me? That's not our job to critique or to map out the routes on how they did trade through Africa. That's supposed to be their job. But what they do, they come and take American sources, right? Talking about the people that was in America, and these people are making a correlation between Africa. You can't do that, bro, because they ain't got shit to do with Africa. All they doing is assuming that it came from Africa, bro. They're not saying 100% that these people are straight up Africans, bro. You see what I'm saying? So I'm trying to work through shit that's actually tangible, bro. Like some real evidence from the place that you claim we we come from. You know what I'm saying? When they're not producing it. You know what I mean? They going off of shit that they saying are white sources or pale skin sources, but these sources are talking about our land here where we are right now. You know what I'm saying? Not only that, they're also talking about their own people. So if they're talking about their own people when we talk about white slaves, then why we can't use a source when the people that's critiquing their culture is talking about them? You see what I'm saying? So if a white man say he go has a source that says they were slaves in America, he's more credible than a motherfucker that's in America talking about Africa, because you need African people that will explain what happened, but they failed to do that. They haven't done that, bro. All you get is these motherfuckers talking about they was in Britain or London, just like they are today. Most of those leaders in Africa are either from London or from Europe, France, or somewhere. That's a fact, bro. Look at where they met all of their wives from. Most of them are black, fucking from France. Most of them got married. The leader of Sierra Leone, they got married in fucking England.
That's
The
what I'm
prime
saying.
minister of Sierra Leone, their marriage ceremony was in London.
See?
So how the fuck is y'all? You know what I mean? Worry about that, Africans. Worry about that, Pan African. Don't worry about what the fuck we doing.
They not. They agents. That's why they worrying about what we doing.
Exactly.
It's not a coincidence. It's an agent, man. Him and King Cass is an agent. It's impossible for them to just been ignoring all this information that Negroes be pulling out. Everybody come up on certain platforms and be producing information or whatever. And for these niggas to be so condescending to where they play us like we're fucking idiots. Like we don't understand, but somehow when not a coincidence, some of these other clowns come up, they got the complete answer for us. Oh, we was lost. And then they came and then showed us the light. The fuck out of here, nigga. And like I said, look, man, I don't really do the debating thing. I don't really try to make that, my claim to fame, or I don't try to get no accolades from debating. But like I said, at the end of the day, this information that we got has to be presented, and it has to be presented among people who are naysayers or people who dispute or people who do not agree with what we saying. It's like at the end of the day, they can't win. We got too much evidence on our side. Any sentient being or any conscious being will look at the information and say, nah, money grip, I can't go with that. This shit right here is this is phenomenal. This information that these brothers and sisters is promoting. And that's where we come into play.
That was an interesting video you had too, though. The first build to part one, when you had the lady going in about Jekyll Island and how they saying they were sacrificing motherfuckers and shit. Yo, I was like, damn, what the fuck?
And that might be true. It might
Right.
we might have been sacrificing motherfuckers. I'm not going to say they got it from somewhere. They probably got it from us. I don't know. But at the end of
Right.
the day, a lot of stuff she was saying I agree with, but some of the stuff I didn't agree with. And I'm looking at her like she's just learning this stuff. So it's like, a lot of people like Michelle Gibson and John Levi and what's the other dude name? Doctus or whatever the fuck his name is. They learning from us. Because we're filling in the blanks to where they have to fill in the blanks with some mystery type of shit. When they tell you about the Nephilim, they talking about Moors mating with white women, bro. That's what the fucking Nephilim is. You ain't never
Yeah.
seen no Nephilim. You ain't never seen no giants. Yeah, you seen a nigga 7, damn near 8 feet tall.
Right.
That's a giant to a nigga who 5'5" or 5'4". A nigga towering over you that's 7 feet, 7'4", 7'2", and the motherfucker 5'5" looking down at you. So it's like, at the end of the day, man, this information is for us and the people who come and try to contest this information. They always gonna take a L. They always gonna take a L because it's gonna be one or two or three or four, just like when AP had a debate, right? I'm quite sure A lot of them people who was Pan Africans were sitting in there saying, "Well, damn, some of this information that was proposed to me, I'm gonna have to review this shit. I'm not just like, what would be, how would you lose if you from America, where everybody want to come, where all the science is at? Oh, you feel as though you lost because you look and say we took over our country and took over our science and everything, but they took over Africa too. They get a lot of the poor people in African countries and learn the curriculum in which they took from us, or not even curriculum, but which they learned from us. They learned this curriculum from us. You know what I'm saying? All the whole world curriculum is all of the science, all off of the science of the Aborigines.
Right.
All of it.
But A1, yo,
Go ahead.
for real, yo, that I want people not, you see, the one thing that I want people to get from your bills, these two bills you did today, right, is this, especially when they talk about Jekyll Island, bro. That Jekyll Island is changed our lives, bro. I'm talking about, you can't take that the what happened on Jekyll Island lightly, bro. That really put us into a some type of slavery because of that meeting that happened in Jekyll Island, bro. You know what I'm saying? And how these bankers started the Federal Reserve, bro. That shit, man, that shit changed the whole fucking game for us, yo. And it's still affecting us today, right now. You feel me? So, and when you talk about the Titanic and the people that was against these bankers that was in Jekyll Island, all of a sudden, all of them on the Titanic, bro. This is not no small shit, bro, that we talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Shit is crazy, yo. I think people just be thinking this shit just like energy. Yo, this shit is very, very serious, bro. What the fuck happened, yo?
Mm-hmm.
And then Jekyll Island, yo, man, people don't understand, bro.
And
That shit
even
changed
after,
everything.
look, and look, nonetheless, even after you review it and you see that the practices that was done over here to our people, and it's like, you gotta kind of like a lot of shit that they saying they was doing, late 1700s, early 1800s. All of that shit is a lie. The shit that was done to us late 1800s until now. That's
19,
what,
yup,
you know what I'm
yup.
saying.
The past 150 years, bro.
That's a
Hmm.
fact.
That's when they did the damage to us.
Yup.
The damage wasn't done prior to that.
Even in the 80s when we grew up, you know what I mean? The projects, the war, the drugs coming into our community, oh, all this shit was all done sequentially, bro. Was all planned out.
Of course, yeah. That's a
Collective
fact.
efforts.
Yes.
And then you gotta sit up there and think of people who would be that sinister to do this. And what would be the purpose and what would be the reason that people is that sinister to do what what they did to our people? Like, and then that you gotta kind of be curious, or you gotta be suspicious of these individuals. Period. And even the individuals that come forth and try to sit up here and talk us out of the information that we see that's right and exact. Because a lot of these niggas is just coming in, they going back. Remember, understand this, and I'm gonna say this emphatically, right? I went to college, okay? A lot of the stuff I learned is pseudo science. Paid all this money for some pseudoscience. Yeah, it can get you a good job. But at the end of the day, when it comes to our information and what our people was doing, the shit is pseudoscience.
Facts. I learned it too. All
You know,
pseudo.
you know what I'm saying? I mean, it can get you a good job. You can make six figures now. If that's what you went into it for, that means you have to ignore the red flags. The shit that's coming up that just ain't making sense. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't make sense when you really do the science and do the research. The shit doesn't check out. It just doesn't. I'm sorry. And I ain't like, I'm sorry, some of these Pan Africans and shit, some of these niggas is slow than the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like these niggas is slow. These niggas just don't get it. And they won't even be sincere enough to say, well damn, we know Negroes came here. You know what I'm saying? We know Negroes already been here. It had to be Negroes here when, okay, if you believe slaves came here, and guess what? So you got, according to the shit we reading, they saying there was already Negroes in South Carolina. They claim they bought slaves in South Carolina, but we have another dilemma. There was black slave owners. The most black slave owners was in South Carolina, Virginia, and Louisiana. So how was they doing all of this shit?
Right. I got that book too with all it was because I was looking at it the other day. It was a massive amount of them in Louisiana, Maryland, Alabama. It was a lot in believe it or not in Mississippi. Now when you look at Louisiana and Mississippi, right, Alabama, those were outside of the colony. So how in the world was slaves in the colonies out, and outside of the colony? You see what I'm saying?
Facts.
So the first slave owner in the colony is Anthony Johnson.
Yep.
So, bro, you know what I'm saying? So how do you explain that? How you explain Anthony Johnson being the first slave owner, bro?
That's what I'm saying. Like
it don't make sense.
It don't make exactly. So when you like even an investigator, right? Somebody who investigating a murder or investigating, how do you want to say, a situation, all right? They're investigating a situation, and they keep coming up with all of these different clues and all of it that's not going according to the narrative. As in, you have to investigate this history. You can't just pull up shit and then read the shit verbatim. You have to really you have to put on your motherfucking Sherlock Holmes hat and pull out your motherfucking magnifying glass and go over every fucking source that these people are willing to put out there to where you can pretty much, I mean, sometimes you may not have to do that. But that's just some of the tactics that I've took to come up with some of the point of views that I present or some of the talking points.
But bro, when you do the investigation, right? The James River runs through South Carolina, right? Or was that Georgia?
Say that again?
I know the James River.
The James River. I think I did see the James River.
I think the James River goes through. Reason why I'm saying that because when you read about Anthony Johnson, right? It says that he was sold into slavery. He came off a boat off the James River, right? You know why they assume he's from Angola? Because his grandson named that part of that land Angola. Now, when you look at all of the black slave owners that was in Louisiana, Louisiana has Angola, a township or called Angola. What do they call the towns? Like it's not wards in Louisiana. It's called what do they call that? What they call that shit?
Got me.
I forgot what they call that town. But
I know what you talking. I know what you talking. Quarters.
Yeah, like the French quarters.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Now, do we need to have a source to really put two and two together and say that they was coming from Angola, Louisiana, and then came down the James River and then started his own? It's already reported that he was an entrepreneur and an agriculturalist.
But check this out.
That was his skills.
There's an Angola in Florida.
Right.
There's an Angola in Florida. And Angola, remember, Gullah came from Guile.
Right.
It's the same thing.
That's where Angola comes from.
Yeah, but Angola, I don't even like even when you look up Angola, it's in Gola.
Right.
It ain't even saying Angola from the origins of what they say. It's in with a hyphen in Gola, Gola. So it's an N with a hyphen,
Hyphen.
fucking comma or fucking whatever you want to call it. One of the one parenthesis. Or, I'm not a parenthesis, but a
Like
quotation.
Goulet.
A
Well, it could
quotation.
be it could be an accent mark.
Yeah, but even Gole is Gule. It's the same thing. These people are in the same regions.
Right.
They in the same regions at the same goddamn time. So you gonna tell me you got one tribe called the Gullah, and you got one called the Gullah? It's the same. If you miss,
Right.
it's pronounced the same way.
And
It's
you
just
got another city called Angola.
see. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this came from Africa. No, they took it over there like they did everything else.
They assuming that shit.
Yeah, but they know they know what they doing.
Yeah, that's
They
what I'm
at
saying.
this point in time, it ain't none of this shit done on purpose. This shit is, I mean, what I'm saying, ain't none of this done by accident. Everything that we looking at is done on purpose. They made
But they
sure that.
had, but the reason why, but look, I'm gonna show you how the intent behind why they had to do it because they know they fucked up with that doctrine of discovery shit. Because really, that's a mistake, bro. That's a mistake on their part because now you're proving that you had no jurisdiction or no idea, or you wasn't allowed to come on a certain part of the world. Anytime you say you discovered something, that means you wasn't allowed to go there. Or you didn't have the technology or the intelligence to even or the skills to build to go to another part of the land. We talking about like fucking what 500 years, like 500-600 years ago. You just get to America.
Man, he lying about it. These people knew, and like the lady was
That's
saying,
what I'm saying though. That's why I say that's a mistake. That's a mistake. That story is. I know they regret putting that story out, bro.
exactly.
So they had to say that we. So now to cover it up, they had to say that the people that was in America wasn't in America. Say that we was from Africa. You see what I'm saying?
But that came with that African narrative came with the eugenics society to tell you that all these different races of people originated on these certain continents. The Asian people originated in what was
Right.
the eastern part of Asia. Then the Indian people came from I don't know, the northern or whatever part of Asia, right? And
Hmm.
then they tell you the Europeans came from Europe, right? Then they tell you the Africans came from Africa, and then they tell you in America wasn't nobody here except some Mongoloids who came here 11,000 years ago.
Well, that's how you make the story seem credible, because you got to put some science behind it, and you got to put a religious story behind it, and that makes the story seem more credible.
That's a fact. And that's what a lot of these people today, man, a lot of these people, they're under that same program and they haven't been able to shake the program no matter how much we try to lend them a hand, even them by them just sitting on the panel listening to us. Because it's like, for a motherfucker like not a coincidence to come on a panel and then it's 8, 9 people up there who all saying the same thing, or who all is sourcing up with certain information, and you still don't get it, and you still challenge us time and time again, and even after you just lost a debate with only getting 6% of a vote, you still coming up here challenging us because that's some agent activity. Ain't nobody investing into convincing somebody that they're African that much. You know what I'm saying? Nonetheless. Oh, see, nonetheless got kicked up out of here. Oh man, I gotta get up out of here since the batty. Chief,
Giving
I don't
too
know where the
much
fuck
good
Chief go.
information.
Man, you know how we do when we get into it. But like I said, I'm definitely gonna be doing bills from here on out. Just to, I got a lot of shit I just need to clear off. Clear out my computer. A lot of information that a lot of people haven't seen. So I definitely appreciate everybody that came out for the joint. Definitely source up. Definitely put some of these sources in your archive so when these conversations come up, you can refute them on site. You know what I'm saying? And just with common sense, just with common sense. We ain't, a lot of this information, they don't think we got common sense because the common denominator is that, oh, black people came from Africa, so even by default we're Africans. Nah, the days of that is over with, and that shit been over with a long time ago.
Yeah.
So so definitely, P Sister Betty. I don't know when next time you do a bill, but I definitely shoot through. Um, you definitely need to go back through some of these black towns and show the people, what I'm saying, like what we was doing, and a lot of information because we're restricted from information at some point, and a lot of us is restricted out of ignorance. So I
Yeah.
definitely thank you for coming through. My brother Chief Billy Goat Holiday. We got a bill coming up. We're gonna get into it. But definitely appreciate everybody coming through and continue to do your research and continue. Y'all can do the part of the scientific the scientific method, which would be the experiment. I know some of y'all is in different regions of America. Let's get a couple videos of you doing your due diligence and asking the people, because a lot of times when I ask a lot of these people, they have a glow on their face. Like they feel vindicated after them telling or somebody ask them they Indian. Like you have to see this shit. This should just be amazing frequency, and a lot of these people feel vindicated. So y'all, you can do it. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? Y'all can do it the same way. Definitely don't feel afraid. Practice it on family members, and then like I said, you in your day-to-day journeys, wherever you may be, you see a Negro, just set them up. Like ask them, like, where is their people from? Then that'll tell you everything. Because remember, some of these people are Caribbean, which I'm not saying Caribbean are not our people, but we talk dealing with here in North America, which is something totally different. But you know what I'm saying? Set them up, ask them where their family from the South or where their family from the North. What so-called nation, the tribe that their family came from, and do your due diligence. So definitely peace to the gods, peace to the goddesses, peace to the Aborigines, North, South, Central, as well as the conjoining
Thank
island.
you.
It's your brother, Sister Betty, my brother Chief Holiday, my brother nonetheless, which is the investigator of the American crime scene. And with that, peace. Peace to the gods. Peace.
Peace
Thank
to
you, Sister Betty, for
everybody.
coming through. Peace.
Yep.